alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything.
Yes, good evening and welcome to the Everything Agriculture Show and Real Entertainment Network. I'm your host, Banky, and right now, just waiting on Yasai. My other host will be coming in a few minutes. But in the meanwhile, I'll start this, and we're moving the show to a Friday night from 7 o'clock. Sorry for the late start. Just had a little hiccup, still learning the system and stuff like that. So just want to big up Ira, the technician behind in the background, for being with us. We already had a little exercise, but technology, we get in there. Just a few tweaking here and there, then we'll get it up to par. So thank you for listening. It's a Friday evening, and it's all about partying for some people. And this is the opening of Sugar Mass in St. Kitts, right there in the heart of Bastia. So hope all goes well for that. But at the same time, when the party goes on, the farmer still got to do his work. So let me say, as usual, good evening to the folks in Oli and Lyamega. For those who don't know, that's St. Kitts and Nevis. We have to always use the indigenous name of the ancestors. And the folks in the neighboring islands, Sabre, Statia, St. Bart's, the US Virgin Islands, the BVI, also the folks over in Montserrat. This also is Montserrat Carnival also going on, and also in St. Croix. I think you have those 3 carnival at the end of the year. St. Kitts and Nevis National Carnival along with St. Croix and Montserrat. So just want to wish all those 3 Caribbean countries a safe time, festive season and stuff like that into the new year. So good evening to the folks over in Antigua also, and the folks over in Guadeloupe, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenada, through the whole Eastern Caribbean and further. Also the folks in the diaspora in North America, all the way from Canada, come straight down to the Florida Keys. We got the folks up in Boston, those in New York, Chicago, down in Atlanta, Texas. Wherever you're at the sound of my voice, good evening, or is good morning, or good afternoon. We really appreciate you joining in with us. And also remember to share the link, the Facebook and YouTube link. Real Entertainment Network, Everything Agriculture have moved to Friday, because I realize there's a lot of shows during the week. For the last 4 years we're doing this show. So I think it's appropriate to a new start, new era, and the radio and the real entertainment every Friday from the one. It makes sense to give a new look and a new time. So we just choose to put it on Fridays where everybody don't wind down. They could just turn on the radio and hear talk about agriculture and what's going on within the country itself. So that's where we're at right now. So we really appreciate you guys sticking with us, and even if you're at our National Carnival, and you can still also tune in and listening to us at the same time. So everything is basically mobile. So we really appreciate that in these times here. There's a lot to talk about, especially in the agricultural sector and stuff like that, and what goes on in the country and the 2025, along with cannabis. I mean, so we'll see what's going on in the carnival time, what have been put in place for cannabis. At the same time, I know there was of the Cannabis Authority had stepped down. I see some article going around and stuff like that. So seem to have some misunderstanding and different stuff going. Is fine. for it been last 2 years where Mr. Garfield Alexander, Dr. Garfield Alexander was the CEO, and I've done a lot of work when it comes to cannabis in the medical industry and stuff like that, and a lot of travel. So I'm not sure what's going on, where those decisions have been made, but it have hit the nation with a big shock and have all everybody gasping and asking for questions and stuff like that. So hopefully somebody will come forward and give an explanation of what's going on. If that happened, I don't know. But as time goes by and days goes by, I think we might get more and more information. Also, we had budget passed the last week in the House, and I guess I know how to talk about that, the budget. The Minister of Agriculture, there was a lot was said, and it seemed like in Newcastle, they had a 40 acres, 60 acres, that at the second phase. See, I mean, I get a lot of phone calls saying the minister was talking about there's an increase, a surge in watermelons. If the minister was talking about me, that was funny. I would say it was selling watermelon and stuff like that, and the wanted if it's me the minister about because ads thing happened on the same time. So, but I just at the same time, I just want to give thanks to the general public for all the support they've been supporting Mansour's Last Stop and Shabazz Organics. Have some watermelon coming in for this in the next week, so that'll be the week of Christmas Eve. I'll be harvesting watermelon, so probably start harvesting on Sunday, so at least the day the Monday, so at least the day for the Tuesday and rest of the week, and hopefully have watermelon into the new year. Also, been harvesting sorrel. Well, I'm out of okra right now, but I'm finish planting out some more sorrel and watermelon this week. Also planning for agriculture open day is coming up next year, March, which will be the 27th and the 28th. So mark your calendar for the Agriculture Expo. And this usually held in the ETW El Comedio Village Park. So mark your calendar, start contacting the Agriculture Department if you want to take part. I myself had last year and had, if those who remember, I had the tent with the cannabis plant, different techniques, different strengths, stuff. So this year, I'm already contacted the Agriculture Department. They say, yes, I'm definitely my space in for me. But more, we also planted melon and stuff like that. So whatever crops I'll be harvesting, at least I want to be able to say at least 3 crops, maybe watermelon, some sorrel, and next crop. Hopefully I should have sweet potatoes, but no more than 3 to 4 crops. Keep it simple and stuff like that along with the cannabis. But also I want to add some different growers. I have at least 13 or 14 different growers. Grow some plants and we'll have them there also to display, in a sense, to see the quality of herb that been growing within St. Kitts and Nevis, within both male and female. Because I don't know, agriculture is not gender bias, so you don't know how a plant look, how the food you eat, if it's a male or female grow it, you don't operate like that. It just to show the craftsmanship when it comes to the horticulture of the male and female growers on the island when it comes to the cannabis plant. It shows the talent is here, and the government, both St. Kitts and Nevis, really need to take a toll on this and put the information and out get this cannabis authority set up an office and a telephone number and compliant officers and different people who is needed to fit those positions, so at least something can move forward. Because people ask me question every day, a question I can't even answer because somehow people seem to think I'm a part of the cannabis authority and all this different stuff, and I have license and all this craziness, but I'm just like everybody else. That's it. I ain't got no license like that. People seem to think so. I just spread rumors and stuff like that, which and I don't get it. But none of that is true. I have no license. I'm just like everybody else. I know my right, how to operate, and that is key. So if you're going to be in an environment, always know your rights and stand by your rights. No matter how people might feel about it. And that's the thing about it. We all know our rights, but because people and their belief system, they use that against you, and the laws also failed by trampling on your rights. So there's a lot to be paid out eventually by this system that been trampling on the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, its citizens that have been using cannabis over the years and been brutalized when the Constitution been give them that right to use that herb. And that's the sad thing about it. The whole system has failed its own citizens, and those who fight against those who use the herb, the cannabis, is guilty of it too. You see what I mean? And that's the sad when people use their belief system over your rights, your own human rights, because those male men who set the Constitution put these things inside of it, and yet the laws of the country that they put in place about drug act and all this different stuff trample on their rights because of international law. Very sad. So that will be a different path again. I'm just checking. Let me check up on Yasun. See what's going on here. Yasun, it's taking a long time, but okay. So yes. So sorry about that. So Agriculture Open Day, 27th and 28th of March. Definitely looking forward for that. Definitely looking forward for that. Also, so if you want to take part in Agriculture Open Day, surely contact the Agriculture Department. Mr. Randy Elliott himself will surely, his secretary will accommodate you when you come to book your name and secure your tent and the space that you need for that, because definitely it's one of the biggest two-day event, apart from, I'm not sure, Interframe, yeah, very well attended, and it's one of them time where farmers planned and different vendors plan for that day. Those who cook food were the sure to always have a good payday for the 2 days. So it's always well, the general public look forward for attending that event. So next year will be my second time partaking in the event. I guess it seems like I will end up be the one just be showcasing cannabis all the time, and at the same time inviting other cannabis growers. As I said, this time we'll have 14 different cannabis growers growing 2 or 3 trees. It doesn't matter at the starting now and until the time when it's time to being at the event, I'll collect them and have them in the same space, and then I'll have that next space where I'm selling watermelon and sorrel and whatever else I'll be harvesting at that crop. Have a few different stuff inside. Hopefully, I should have some Dashin and Tanya around the time, along with some other growing crop, maybe some cassavas and green banana. And I'm trying not to go over 4 crops there to sell, and just keep it simple as possible. Also, we touched on the budget had passed. Yason, good evening. How are you doing?
Yeah, giving thanks and praises, King.
All right. Well, I was just giving an overview how they send, the greetings as usual. Was just I ain't touched nothing directly to talk about. I just was giving that agriculture open coming up 27th and 28th of March, the Agriculture Expo, and that the Minister of Government have mentioned that the next second phase of Indian Castle in the budget that passed was last week should start within the first quarter or something like that. Also, there's Carnival today. Tonight is the launch of the Linkets and stuff like that. So I mentioned those kind of stuff. 2025 agenda. I ain't hear nothing. Well, I know the agriculture started giving out some seedlings, some watermelon and cantaloupe and stuff like that. Well, I mean, we can get into that one also, but that's along the road where I was at, where I was talking about. I ain't getting to know specifics, anything like that. So how you been so far? As I was asking.
Yeah, I'm giving thanks and praises. Getting colder and in these parts of the world. So, just putting on some cover and some shade houses and just getting set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a couple of days away in the other day. That was, a blessing still. So when we
Nice.
start to fall in these parts here, it's really winter. Give me a second there. Yes, I. So yeah, when it's winter, rain is a signal for winter. In my neck of the woods, we don't really get
Yes,
snow, but it
I got
goes
you.
below 30, so you get the frost, but you don't really get the snow.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right, I got
we're just preparing for that.
you. Nice.
But yeah, give thanks to being another edition of Everything Archer, link up with Real Entertainment Network. I guess we should let the folks know that it's gonna be on a Friday now, on a
Mm-hmm.
regular, and then on
Yes.
Tuesday, the last Tuesdays in the month, we would still link up with Alan with the Real Entertainment. I'm sorry, the topics, agriculture,
Mm-hmm.
everything agriculture meet the topics, edition. So. Yeah, it's good to be back, and it's good to be with Real Entertainment Network facilitating us, and being a part of the platform and expanding the platform. We would apologize also to those um we did not get to at least advertise it. They'll pop in, whoever,
Yes.
log in tonight will probably, log in. But in the
Thing.
future, we would definitely, have something out to let folks know that Everything Agriculture is back on a regular and a weekly basis, but on a Friday. So
Yes.
we look for who will log in at this time. It's usually should start at 7. We would have had a little, hiccups, and, even me myself had a little, even though I was prepared, I eventually had to go on to something else, so I give thanks we're here, and we look forward to having an interesting discussion as usual with Everything Agriculture is concerned.
Yes, Jason. Um, well, I mentioned that I will be taking part in the Agriculture Open Day in March, so I'm preparing already. So I'll be planting out after, and next week, Saturday or Sunday, Friday, I'll start planting watermelon and sorrel. I don't plant with sorrel this week, and watermelon, 2 stages of watermelon, because I have watermelon coming for February, for January, and don't plant watermelon now to come in for March. So if you're gonna plant watermelon, I plant direct seed. So they plant the seed by next week Saturday. So within 5 to 7 days they start germinating. So by the time January hit, in the first week they don't start got the true leaves and stuff like that ready to start run and start spread out and show themselves throughout the month of January, and start flowering in the first second week in February, and start getting fruit in the third and fourth week, and then ready to harvest at the end of you see what I mean? So everything gotta be precise.
Yeah,
Because if
yeah,
you don't plant this
yes,
melon, if you're gonna be planting seedlings, you gotta set your seedlings in the middle anytime now. So you're ready to plant out in the first week of January. But if you're gonna plant direct seed, you gotta make sure plant in the first week of January. Cause it's just in plus is either 'cause when the heat and rain come in, it's plus or minus. So I rather we have the week before open day, within the beginning of the week of open day. If you run it too
yes, sir.
close, then you're gonna miss the harvesting. So I should be having a few crops coming in for that time, and also all the start plant base already. I got the plant now. So March come in, it kind of goes everything. Some is that we have it, some is it's depending on the strain and stuff like that. So I'm already prepared. So to show you how agriculture is so precise and understanding the environment and all the different stuff, where farmers have to really plant this stuff, otherwise you'll just miss it. And at the same time, you still
Right.
need to have food all the time, all year round, not just for planting for 2 days of event. You don't work like that. So I have a lot of, I'll be harvesting pumpkin within next 2 weeks. Within a week and a half after next week, that following week, I'll be harvesting some pumpkin along with a lot of melons and stuff like that. And still, sorrel, I will have an area harvested of some sorrel tomorrow, and that will be finished. And then I'll start harvesting within the next 2 weeks with a much larger area. So it will take me straight down to the end of January, early February. We'll be start having the next set again. So I will continue to harvest sorrel straight down and plant sorrel right up until March. And that will be my last time for for the year planting sorrel. March will take me down into March, April, May, down into at least end of June, July. And then
Right.
When they come in, then yeah, so you see what I mean. So I'll harvest that down into cultural time early, just before cultural beginning, and then I'll just in August, in the August, coming in for, get them much bigger and start harvest. So everything just gotta be precise, well planned, and well, monkeys people visiting the farm have been doing a lot of workshop and stuff like that with general public. This month, the 28th will be the cannabis workshop with the general public, and I also had water management last month there, which was well attended. So I want to give thanks to the general public who came out and support the water management and irrigation system of irrigator system set up, and so I'm sure it differs when it comes to conserving water, and the efficiency of using a hose or sprinklers, different sprinkler systems compared to drip systems, and using a fertigator and timers and all this different stuff, and the efficiency when it comes to using your time, and more time is spent on the farm, and all this different stuff like that. And they really seeing, well, not just hearing the theory, getting the theory, but at least the practical part of it, you
Right.
receive. I appreciate that. I mean, that them to take back the information and can add and appreciate the use of water, and not overwatering, and realize by underwatering it can affect the plant in a very negative way, and also overwatering, but just giving the plant exactly what it needs. So, and really understand it from that point of view. So what I'm trying to do now is already have the Nevis aspect of the primary schools and the high schools, and them. I want to try to reach who want at least and try to partner where they can get the schools from Syncit to come over and stuff like that to also be a part of this experience where they can. The high school came from Gingerland, and what the topic was they wanted to know about post harvest of crops, and they didn't realize it was so importance of post harvest, of the quality and the nutritional value of the food in would drop, and all this different stuff, and preserving it from to harvest it. It starts right there. You know what I mean? Transportation,
Right.
storage, processing is just so much. But the eyes is just as you were talking over the years, the food left how long from your farm from your farm to your table, from the farm to the boat to the truck. You've been talking about that over the years,
Right.
weeks or months before you even get
Yep.
your food. So we're trying to change that, and that's why I designed the farm. Okay, when you come, you see how the farm should be set up when it comes to harvesting, well laid out, proper roads to live, because all these gonna affect the harvesting of the crop. If it's bumpy and damaging of the crop and all these different stuff and packaging, all this had put into the explaining of post harvest, and realize you just really can appreciate when you can get your fresh fruits and vegetables from a farmer within the space, the community that you can. It's priceless, and we should appreciate. And then what I'm trying to push is that cutting out a lot of these insecticides we tend to use, and plow the land a lot of overplowing, and a lot of spraying every week with some preventative measures where you just spray every 7 days, just spraying, and all this different stuff, and especially a lot of herbicide and stuff like that. So farmers really spending a lot of money outside when it comes to a lot of insecticide and herbicide, instead of really monitoring, and then use and encourage farmers to have a compost on the farm, also backyard and homeowners and different areas and stuff like that, and get more involved within harmful gas. There's a stuff that you really want to talk about it.
Yeah, well, it's really good to hear that you're really doing so much, because a lot of this is critical, especially for the school youths. Um, in their case, um, a lot of, well, we didn't have a proper school farm. We got a greenhouse at CSS. I don't know how much it is involved, but however, one of the areas that's lacking in the agricultural sector in the schools is that practical approach. Yes,
Yes.
they would get material in terms of the theory, but being
Mm-hmm.
able now to be able to see it in a practical sense and be able to um, visualize it, not just read it in the book, but be able now to come out on the farm and see you do what you do and you explain it. And then, the one that you spoke about, the workshop you say you did in terms of post-harvest, getting them to
Yes.
get that understanding of, yeah, this is where it really comes from. It comes from the farm, and this is what the farmer has to go through to get it to you. Get it as a juice, or whether you're gonna get it as a potato chip, or you're gonna get it as whatever it is that is processed into a jam, a wine, or whatever it is. Um, you are definitely gonna have to, realize that it's a process, you know. So it's a
Yes.
process that it goes through, and that process is very, very critical to the whole um, agriculture scheme, in putting that um, understanding to it, that they could realize that it is not just the dirty hard, but all of these other components are aspects of the field of agriculture. And these are areas that, they can get themselves involved in and become entrepreneurs or agripreneurs, as I
Yes.
love to use that terminology, agripreneurs, where, you become a business person out of agriculture. And so we have a lot of scope for that. It brings me into a project that I'm working on right now that I'm hoping to be able to bring to the Caribbean, since it's a Nevis
Mm-hmm.
first, and then spread it to the Caribbean. It's a 1 hectare farm model.
Mm-hmm.
It's really gonna encompass a bit of all of that. Where it has the processing as a part of it, um, the area for sorting, branding, labeling, um, and even areas for housing to house people who may want to come and visit and, spend maybe a week or two or whatever it is and learn about all of that. So you can
Retreat.
train to
Retreat.
bringing people to train. That's right. So yeah, well, retreat and training, because we want to be able to,
Yes.
the whole idea to is basically along the same lines. We not just, have it as a ecotourism center, but also at the same time train our youth so that they can be equipped to deal with agriculture and the rise that is coming in agriculture, so they could have the skills and knowledge to work anywhere in the world after learning and going through that training and getting the certification that is necessary. So that's the kind of thing that I'm working with right now. The organization
Mm-hmm.
has already done one in Ghana, and making way for a couple of other countries in Africa. Um, I got introduced to the group, and days where the Caribbean came, they said, well, hey, I mean, we're doing this from a diasporan perspective, but I find sometimes in the diaspora and discussions, it's kind of mostly like, Africans who were living, whether maybe in England or Canada or America, but the
Mm-hmm.
Caribbean sometimes don't fit into the equation. And so, with that said, that's where I um, got involved and is now in the process of seeking to make that a reality for the Caribbean. So we got a working model, um,
Yes.
and tangible products that are being sold, marketed, market testing and all that has been done and all that. And so just ready to rock and roll. So I'm looking forward to that, So I'm really looking forward to coming back and being a part of, well, you don't know how we go when it comes to me and you. So you wouldn't even have to mention that, but that's the kind of thinking, and I'm really happy that you know we are on that vision, and we see the need, and we don't just talk about it. We actually
Yes.
make the effort to do something about it. And so at the end of the day, that is it. There's nothing that you can say, because you can't say that we just come here and talk. You can see that we are doing what is necessary to make that change. And there is where I sit, you know?
Beautiful, your son. Did you listen to the budget? You hear anything about the what was said in the budget when it comes pertaining to agriculture, when the poultry industry and Indian castle and food security, anything like that? Do you get any information?
Um, but so many things have happened in between now and then, right? I don't recall much of what was said in regards to any of those specific um
Mhm.
things that were mentioned. I know that they were mentioned, but in terms of
Yes,
what capacity and what plans and so on moving forward, I don't
yes.
recall if any was actually um highlighted in any specific way, like any
The
timelines
plan,
and um
yes. Well,
things like that. So I don't
well,
want to
from
um
mhm,
overspeak right now in regards to that.
yes.
I really don't recall.
Well, there's a few plans to get back the poultry project back on track, and also the second phase
Let me get my other
at Indian.
device so I could check the comments.
Yes, no problem. All right, we wait till your son come back and wait. So thanks to all those who logging in and real entertainment for the Everything Agriculture show on a Friday evening. Greatly appreciate you guys tuning in and keep showing that interest when it comes to agriculture and the importance of having safe food for eating and caring about the environment in a whole. You back? Yeah, you ready, Yasun?
Yes, man. Yes, sir.
Okay. What was I know what was mentioned is that getting the poultry back up and running, and also the second phase at Indian Castle that has been sitting and nothing been doing there. And before it seemed like every day somebody come calling me and complain about how the first phase is and this and that. What? But I'm telling you, I mean, that's have nothing to do with that. The department have well trained staff that you understand who should have that interest, and a minister, a PS, a director. So I still even have a premier. You understand? And the deputy premier is the same one of agriculture, and plus the deputy premier live in the same village of the Indian Castle Archer and stuff like that. I was to them, and I've been working in agriculture, but yet my name seems still to be keep coming up. But I'm open for business like anybody else. I'm a professional person. I mean, if the government want to give me a contract for whatever the situation is, I have no issue with that. I can bring in people, get the job done, can manage the projects and stuff like that. But I ain't see those kind of things happening. You understand? Yes, son.
What are you saying in terms of the Indian castle? You're saying that it's not in a good condition
Well, from speaking to
presently?
people who go down there, well, from speaking to people who say being in that environment and stuff like that, some of the trees and what seems to be an issue and neglect, and the place is overgrown and different stuff like that, and the staff not getting along, and the person who's supposed to be in charge of management don't just different back is not being, you know, when I running the project don't and I'm leaving the evening, and every quarter you're gonna get watermelon constantly. Once you come on the farm, there's watermelon in cycles. There have not been one or seed planted since I've left that farm, that estate. Not one crop have come out produce of that. Not one. So I know right now the hot pepper stuff is going on, and I understand they're growing some hot peppers down there, but I haven't seen any pictures, and I don't know how the project is going, but I know they're supposed to be growing a few trays of hot peppers as the same thing in St. Kitts. But that's our next topic we got to get into separately, I guess. I mean, that can out it here this evening, the hot pepper, because the plan that was when I was a part of that, the technician would travel to Southern University and
Mm-hmm.
the Avery Island, where the Tobacco Sales Company is, they're based on a island where also the salt mining that, and the workers them live on the island. That's how the farm system is set up. So you don't have to leave, go nowhere, and stuff like that. So I was a part, but the plan for that project was to just grow the peppers and export the peppers then back to the farm. Just go a quarter acre, small acre, small navies, get both of them, send them up to the quality store it is, and then get and work out a contract with the farmers themselves to grow the peppers. But I'm not sure if that's still the case. So before I say anything on that, I guess I mean, the minister, both St. Kitts Nevis, the director and the PS, whoever is there, should explain exactly how this pepper project goes. If farmers will be involved to grow in the pepper, and you understand what agreement was worked out, stuff like that. And what I understand is a total different shift. And if they're moving from that shift, it means they got to, I don't I you gotta learn a whole system now. You understand what I mean? It's a whole total different system because it's not like if you're gonna move I'm not sure if this is true, so I don't much until I get more information. But if it, and so I'm gonna leave it there for now until I get more information. The best thing to do is the minister in Nevis and minister in Singit are both PSs and directors should say exactly how this paper go in this paper, how it works, and what is the intent, and how we're gonna benefit the farmers and stuff like that. And then I guess we can move forward as guys. So what was I couldn't comprehend it. That really don't make no sense, you know. But yes, so the other side supposed to be started within the first quarter, as told, but the mention. So
Mm-hmm.
not sure how that gonna go, which means the land gonna have to be cleaned. I'm not sure who gonna clean the land if government gonna use, but either way, if government goes his own back, ask them to clean the land. Yes, it need man. You understand? Manpower. So there's
Mm-hmm.
a cost to anything. So either way, there will be a cost to clean the land. And so I'm just watching and seeing next month start January in a couple of weeks, and then we'll see project really starts. I already given all the information already, so the pipe was already been put in place to order and the saddles. I already put everything in place for the product to start and stuff like that. And make sure that the PS was they come in the next the PS is a different the PS is there now. Mr. Sergeant already retired also and gone, so it's a whole new and the plan there, cause the plan in my head. So everybody have to go with their own plan now. You know what I mean? So that's the next thing there. So don't everybody do things differently. So I don't know if the plan cause there's a whole team in place for this project over since I left, yeah, son. People involved from Sing and different agencies that give different stuff, and there's a whole team of nearly 10 people of our kind of professional, but they just can't start. You see what I mean? A whole year, and the first phase started with me 5 minutes, and that's it. Just boom, 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 and it done. And now a year later, they can't start the same next phase. You see?
But we I don't know. I mean, I have seen even on the poultry production side of it, I have seen progress taking place on the sister island and St. Kitts where they would have already set up the hatchery. I would have seen
Yes. It's today someone
live.
called me about get involved in the poultry business in St. Kitts and in Nevis, but I have no information to tell them. You see what I mean?
I I sometimes we living in a strange place, you know, and it bothers me a lot because a lot of the times we hear a lot of the lip service where agriculture is concerned. Like when it's whatever occasion it is, whether it's World Plant a Tree Day or whatever it is, World Food Day or whatever it is, they have some fancy, eloquent speech that is so
Mm-hmm.
fitting for that setting that even though some of them are not even maybe planting a tree in their yard, you would want to think that they're some of the greatest farmers and they really so care about food security. And then after that, we don't see any evidence in the budget and we don't see anything in terms of the plans. Um, it's scary when the leader even give up hope, so to speak, on the 25 by 25 agenda that you know they would have known about since 2020. So
Well, it started
to
now, your son. It started now, So you got it started. It's just started 2 weeks ago. They started giving out some seedlings, and also they're giving out 20%. Well, they're offering. If you go and buy wire from J&N Fencing, Floyd Robinson, you'll get some kind of discounted price. We always think is giving away everything. So I was told you get a discounted price on the wires. So I was saying, we don't understand that. They give you a free wire and then you have to go buy wire when them is a part of the same program that is Mr. Sargent was the first chairman and the same 2025 agenda. Mr. Elliott, along with his chief extension officer, all them citizens go to sink it and all this stuff. So I don't understand why they didn't. I don't know. They don't have to speak for themselves. You understand? I can't speak for the Navy's. You understand? Head of department, who the ministry and the white farmers from Navy's is not benefiting. Well, the farmers benefiting. Let me say that benefiting from myself and a next gentleman who heading. You understand? A next area with farming community, but saying that but these are things the department should be doing. Farmers shouldn't have to be calling me and asking me for stuff, and then I have to call Sinkit and get stuff for them over and drip lines and stuff like that, and whatever planting material. The resources are there for the citizens of Sinkit's Navies, whether it's backyard farming, whatever resources you want, the resources are there to share. But now Navies have started a program just giving out a few. But this program don't seem to be fitting with him because this program just started after when the same time the minister had an emergency meeting. Was very upset, want to know why farmers not bringing their stuff at marketing. So I don't. So this cannot be. He said, but as House of Assembly start the same 2025 agenda. That make no sense when it's done
but
started
but
over a year ago.
I no, but hear what I'm saying. This
Yes,
25 by 25 agenda is not a initiative that was created by St. Kitts and Nevis. It's not something that
of course.
St. Kitts and Nevis decide that they're going to do. This was an agenda, a recommendation by CARICOM, and this recommendation was made from, if I stand to be corrected, but I think it's in 2020. In we
Of course.
4 years to prepare ourselves. This and 2025 is tomorrow
Yes.
because we midway December. So you're telling me that yes, we would have seen evidence that St. Kitts, let's say the situation, because St. Kitts don't have a government, it's federal government, would have made some efforts in terms of doing what they have to do. But we know at the end of 25 that we seeking to
Yes, son, you're breaking up.
where the,
You're breaking up a little bit.
where the plans where the plans for the main agricultural projects. the
You're breaking
poultry.
up, your son. You're breaking up a little bit. You're coming in pieces.
Okay, you guys talk in the meantime until I get the service. Probably my internet, you know.
You sound better now. Go ahead. Continue. Go ahead. Start over.
Yeah, I was saying plans, you know, for these major
Yes.
projects. Um, you know, the poultry plan for the front phase of the Indian Castle Orchard. Where the plans for bringing back the orchard to the position that it was when you had it, when you were managing it a couple of years ago. Um, why do we just get this haphazard, last minute rush kind of energy without even any, you know, proper plans for these things? And it's not that we lack people with the expertise. So I mean, sometimes, you know, it really makes you, it baffles even some of the most intelligent minds, I think. Why simple things like these are not addressed um, in the way I think that they should, especially in the times that we're living in. Food security is critical. Um, Another critical area I think we need to focus on is a seed bank, and to
Yes,
start to really store a lot of the heirloom and indigenous plants and the seeds and so on for the future, because we are about to lose a lot of these by some of these corporate people who want to patent all kind of things, patent seeds and patent species and varieties and so on. So soon, you know, so unless you have certain things indigenous, you can't stop them from modifying or putting in whatever things they want to put in these things and then present them to you. And this is kind of, you know, these are some of the things that's going on in the food world that really behooves those in the leadership position to really take agriculture seriously and realize that if we don't, that even their lives are at stake with the foods, the real, you know, the crisis that we have in terms of food security, and paying attention to what's going on with what you eat and what is being done in terms of, you spoke of the pesticide side of it and the herbicide side of it and so on. But even on the genetically modification side of it, where, you know, they put in things so that you can get some of these MRI things and nano particles and so on that they want to get into your system and all that. So there's a whole heap of things that's going on the food side. And so it's really critical for us to start to grow what we eat and eat what we grow.
yes.
Food security is critical. Support the local farmers and seriously take farming as a business, and seriously do a marriage between agriculture and tourism, because they should go hand in hand. If you're bringing in people with the hope of getting the foreign exchange, then you should be able to grow the food to feed them creative, you know, and interesting dishes from the things that you grow, so that they could have that experience of a lifetime, and you keep the money in instead of having to import the food to feed them when they come. That's like taking in the money in one hand and passing it out in the other. So you get it from the tourists, but then you still have to send it out to buy food to feed them when they come here, because when they come, you have to entertain them, you have to feed them. So it is really critical for you to really, you know, take your farming seriously and you know, take on things like that. So I look forward to some change in attitudes where agriculture is concerned. Um, on a Nevis level, I'm really not liking what I'm hearing. So I mean, you're on the ground, and I mean, it's really really sad, you know, what I'm hearing, bro.
You see, what from what I gather with what is happening now, giving seedlings that came out of the meeting when the minister was very upset that farmers and I take only two farmers are taking stuff to the marketing division, and he don't understand why. So if there's a relationship between this and the marketing division, is there something that should be fixed where they can move on and farmers can, you understand, get it started out. But by just giving out some seedlings, can all that on board on this, you understand? So and there's an agreement that those two farmers they must bring back 75%, 100% of the food, or they will keep 25%, sell it, give it away, whatever they want to do with it, and stuff like that. So I still can. If you want farmers to sell the food, but it's just where you use the seedlings and you bring it back to say, well, you force the farmers to come back to give them some of the food, but at the same time, after these crops have finished growing, well, what happened after that? They're going back on their own, growing the crop, not bringing the food, give them the seed. I'm coming from. So if there's a situation
Right.
that need to be fixed, you must have a conversation. And there's always been a serious issue with farmers and that environment where it just you can't avoid having like farmers when they wanted to work along with you. And a matter of fact, I already have a mark. I already start shipping out food to Anguilla and Tatola start when half week after next. I have a plane coming up from Anguilla, collect some food, 1,200 pound of food and stuff like that every week. Or they contact quarantine to make sure the paperwork and everything will be in one or two farmers who have dry goods, whether it's bananas, dry coconuts, dashing, tanya, carrot, melon, and pumpkin. So I already link up a couple of farmers, so I will see what they have and what I don't have, and I'll also get stuff from them. And you see what I mean? And the same thing to send to Tat. But, but it's and a lot could be done, but it's just partnering as ain't nothing doing. You see what I mean? And really, there's neighboring islands that really need the food. I'm saying it's a navies at the same time. But 2025 agenda, up to now, you haven't heard anybody from Sinki's from the Navy part speak on the 2025 agenda, and even the minister. You see what I mean? So now, when the year end, you're going to tell me you're starting to is that okay, you have not laid out nothing, no meeting of with no farmers. And not up to now, somebody told me about this. Half of me for one seedling to plant or one seed. So there's no, and by speaking, there's no program in place. So, no sense. So I would like to get on what's going on and stuff like that. You understand? Because you can't tell me saying giving out drip line, water tanks, all these different stuff, electrical wire, fencing poles, matting, and they will give you a few seedlings and telling you go to, if you want where to buy, go buy JLF fencing, and they will give you a discount. That's sort of like a joke to me. Yeah, so now that I even have the energy to laugh, and that don't make no kind of sense. When these are there to be shared. So somebody need to come forth with and address the situation. Why one part when it's a collaborative effort. Also, you have Carnival just started this evening here in St. Kitts. So I would like to know if cannabis is going to be a part of around it. You see what I mean? And the cultural past, you still ain't hear nothing in Nevis about the cannabis part of it the same way. I'm not sure if they put anything in place when they come to when they where fix up Carnival City back. I understand that when they renovated it to keep the shows them there. So I'm not sure if anything we had made in effort for them to have any area designated for cannabis and stuff like that. I think it seemed to be doing their thing in a sense, but still you realize you have stepped down from the Cannabis Authority, Dr. Garfield Alexander. So that is something in here, no conversation about that from anyone within, whether uh, anyone within the cabinet, whether the Prime Minister, within the board, anyone from the board and stuff like that. So it seemed to be a lot going on, and the people having a lot of conversation about that. You know about these things, right? I know Carnival
No.
start, Sugar Man start tonight. Or you know which one?
Well, I did see something about the semi-finals for the Calypso show.
Oh,
I saw
one,
that
two,
as a
three, big life
part
in
of the
them.
discussion. Yeah, I see that Big La is leading the way, which is,
Yes.
quite interesting. Everybody talking about the song, real popular song.
Opposition
Um,
and
huh?
things not going well. Those two, you have things not going well, and you have leader of the opposition. He is the leader of the opposition.
Okay, well, me,
That's
me
the,
hear
that's
the
the, la-
second
the
one.
second song he sing. I'm telling you
Yeah.
something. There's three songs that came out in the semifinals. One, two, and three. Queen Independence. That thing about the CBI. I think that was her. And they have a next lady that had a song about I think, and the next gentleman got a song about peace. Peace, the opposite. But
Mm-hmm.
those three, four songs, it tells everything about all the political parties in St. Kitts and Nevis. You know, I said nothing. It shows that you're just in a complete change with every. I have nothing to do with none of them. When you listen to those three songs, it
Mm-hmm.
mean anybody in St. Kitts and Nevis is supposed to get up and say, you know what? Anybody who go and run and be weapon and should be able to win this seat. And those songs tells everything what goes on in St. Kitts and Nevis. You know, I say nothing else. Those songs speak for itself. We've been bamboozled, we've been taken for a ride, and they're all elites party. They're looking to have their own interests. They don't have the press at heart. All elites party. Those songs speak exactly. And I don't know how come that whoever was judging have them. You understand? To be right up in there, one, two, three, and four, right in order like that. Because they speak exactly on in the country these years with all these are the same thing, Virgin. Same thing. And everybody would
But
agree with these songs.
historically, that's where Kaiso come from, because
Yes, of course. In
that's
their
what
business and
it
speaking
was
their
all
genders.
about, right?
Yes,
It was entertainment for massa, but
yes,
it was the opportunity to communicate messages and share the stories and talk about what's going on in the communities. And so
yes.
that is what it is all about. It has always been that way. And you know, a lot of people always, you know, um, chastise Rastafari and say, but yeah, you're always talking about the past and I always talking about Africa and you know what I mean? But as we listen to all of what you are saying here, it is the reality of what would have taken place to bring us to where we are today. And the thing
Yes.
is, the masses, as you mentioned, have been bamboozled so much to the point where it is, and it's happening in Africa as well, with a lot of African territories, where our own people who look like us, who have taken up the seats, and the systems continue to represent the systems that were designed by those who designed them, never
Hmm.
with the intent for us to be the beneficiaries or the true beneficiaries of such a system. And then you have our people who, some of them are some of the top legal luminaries, and they know, and they would all admit that they know that there are things in the Constitution that needs changing, there are things that needs to be adjusted and so on. But as much as they know, and they know what need to be done to do it, they ain't making no outward to do it, because the status quo benefits them. And so it's like, if the glass ain't broken, why try to fix it? Let's just continue keeping
Hmm.
them bamboozled, pitted against one another. You're NRP and you're CCM and you're PAM and you're Labour, and you know what I mean, when the reality is one bird and two wings. Because at the end of the day,
That's right.
um, those who are in authority, those who get elected and end up and win, they get paid by the taxes of us, the masses. And even those who get elected as opposition, they too get paid. They don't get as much as those who are elected to operate, but the elected are also paid by our taxpayers. our taxes. And so when we, the masses, become more informed and become more involved in the overstanding of where we come from and what we should have been doing, the last revolution they had there, the Buckley's
Uprising.
revolution,
Mm-hmm.
uprising,
Yes.
that spoke to the people wanting not to adhere to that system, and they wanted to govern themselves as the true people of their country, Layamiga. But later on, some other groups of people who look like us as well decided they want to stick to, and they voted to stick to, that Westminster style governance structure, and eventually created what we now have as that. It was Sinkis, Nevis, Anguilla, and then eventually Sinkits and Nevis. And we have a constitution from 1983, which they claim, all of them who have sat in that position of leadership have claimed that it's flawed and it needs changing. But up to now, none of them make an attempt to change not even a comma or that in this same constitution that they not don't benefit the people. So at the end of the day, that system continues. The upper class, they make a certain amount of money, and the lower class, minimum wage, make a certain amount. And so when it's time for election, because they're making so much, they could afford to just maybe even tell you they ain't gonna take the salary for a certain amount of time, you know what I mean, give you a little $500, and if you're making less than $500 a week and a man come and give $500 in a day, but you think that man is a millionaire, you feel, boy, you're loyal to this man. Well, at least that's how some of these people think. And they end up and
Mm-hmm.
go and give them an X. And that's all they want, the X. That puts them back in there for 5 years. And then the game continued to be played.
But you know that's free trade right there. You don't get paid, so they might not owe you nothing. And that's an
And
agreement right there. You don't you must
exactly,
understand that they might not owe you nothing else for 5 years. You know it don't.
exactly for
You
5 years,
understand? Okay.
because the reality is of that system as well. Because I say, remember, that system was always never designed for those who are being oppressed by that system, you know. So it's not easy. It's not that easy for you to just get rid of these people who even if they're not doing what you hire them to do. You either have to wait for 5 years, or you got to get a vote of no confidence from amongst them, which is so highly unlikely. Unless, well, you know, I mean, whatever is done is being so blatant that it creates uproar in society and things like that, right? So that is part of the game that is being played, because it's 5 years. After you don't put me there, it's 5 years, and whatever I choose to do, you know, even without coming and consulting with you, which is part of what the issue is, because we allow them to do whatever they do without any consultation. And then when you do consult and report, they try to brush you aside and diminish, you know, whatever it is that you're saying, or dismiss it and things like that. And sometimes because they're in the position to do certain things. So, you know, these are is a lot of these things that are part of why it is so important for us to sustain ourselves, at least, you know, within this time. Be able to feed yourself, grow your own food, have your own, you know, even down to the lands. After we would have gone through this, you think we should be talking about a lot of these crown lands? Who crown? Which crown? These were lands were supposed to be distributed to the people. Everybody was supposed to at least get a quarter acre, 2 acres free. maybe even 40 acres in America it was supposed to be, but in terms of our geographic space, I just looking at everybody should at least, you know what I mean, not have to go buy land. You know, we shouldn't be talking about crown land in 2024. You understand? So the mentality, a lot has to be done in terms of, you know, re-engineering the thought process of our people. Like I said, they would have been looking at us as the ones who are crazy because we talk about reparations and we talk about repatriation and we talk about connecting with Africa and seeking to get in touch with our ancient traditions and linking with our ancestors and all of these things. They say we mad, we crazy, and we getting into all kind of spiritual things and seek to try to discredit, um, you know, that Afrocentric side, that Marcus Garvey rebellion side, you know. You know, sometimes when I look at you know how our people have gotten in these times, and I look at what's going on even with the youths, Banky. The youths don't know themselves to the point where it has become like nothing for them to just take their own brother's life. You know, a cousin, a friend, a man from the village over so, who probably when they do figure out they were probably related, but over some little maybe issue, they have lost themselves to the point where, I shouldn't say lost themselves because they have even gotten to know themselves to the point where they overstand what it means to have life, to live and love and just have life. They
Yes.
don't value life. They have grow up with this video game mentality. So it's like they play these games and they're taking it to to real time. And you know, as I say this, it brings me to something that I don't know if you're aware of, but just a couple of days ago, I doubt it's a week, that you have this
Mm-hmm.
thing where a lot of these youths, they on TikTok, doing this thing where they're warring with one another, and you know what I mean, coming live and talking and saying that this and what they could do and who know where, who there, and all this thing. And while one of these youth having
Live,
a war
live,
with
live.
another youth, live. So you see, like how me and you here live right
Yes.
now, the two of them live on TikTok doing whatever, cussing and saying, yeah, I know where you be and I could just come check. One of the youth get
Mm-hmm.
shot live. A man come to take him out and he live.
Seeing.
So I mean, you know, like it's showing you like where this thing has gone with our youths, where they don't know themselves. They don't they don't know themselves. They don't know that they're kings and queens, prince and princesses, come from royalty, and they should appreciate love life. And food is the source of life. And that is why we do what we do. That is why, even though they might look at us and say that at the least we are dealing because we are dealing with the earth. But
Yes, I.
when they do that brain we engineer it, when they do that reverse psychology, they would then begin to realize how important that earth is
But
and how
don't they know that?
important it is for them.
But
No,
they
I
knows
don't
that, yes.
think so,
Because if they don't, then no, yes,
Banky.
son. They know. 'Cause they have to eat. What are you talking about? Without eat the dead, you well, without water,
Hold
food, you
on,
do
hold
well.
on, hold
Is it,
on, hold on, hold on. Me and you might dead because me and you totally depend on the earth to live. Remember these guys who have money, then I can somebody they go bring in the tropical boat and whatever, and they get their
yeah,
food, so you could stay there.
what about the
That
poor
is
man
why,
who don't
Banky.
have the money? and still,
So
and
that
not
is
even
what. So
trying to
that.
plant some food. I'm never
So
about
so that
money,
is
you
why
know. Never about the poor man who don't have it.
me and you would worry about that, and that is why we plant, and that is why we do what we do. But these who we elect
Yes.
should be thinking that way. That is how they should be thinking as well, and that is what they should be doing. But look at it. Here is where we are right now, and here's what I'm pointing out to you, right? That
Mm-hmm.
it's since 2020, or maybe before, I stand to be corrected, but at least
Yes.
2020 is when CARICOM
Yes.
decided to start to push the 20 by 20, 25 by 25 agenda, because they would have
Yes.
realized that our import bills were getting higher and higher and higher, right? We are waiting until this year, just a couple of weeks ago, to try to say we are doing something to push towards the 25 by 25 agenda. So it demonstrates to you how a lot of these people think about these issues. They wait until something happen or some crisis happen for them to begin to look at it and maybe take it a little bit serious. So for example, why I would say that they're not serious, anybody should know that land is the basis of power. Land is the true basis of power. Without land, you ain't got nothing. So apart from your first most vital resource in a country, which is your people, the second most important is your land. And
Yes. Sir.
it's only because a lot of these people who who end up being a part of the citizenship by investment program, which is what the government sought to push more and invest in more instead of agriculture. If these people were really serious about land, one of the major things that's being pushed in the CBI is selling out the land. So if they were really serious about it, that's what I'm saying. If they really understood it, then they would have started to, since you have it, utilize it, even just like the Europeans did, because it's sugar and
Yes,
tobacco.
sir.
And
Are these things you're telling me these scholars that go to school to be doctors and lawyers and all these things for 12 years and 9 years and 8 years, and who will tell you that work out and be on this and that and eat out of this and know how this and know that. I was so no, they get amnesia, they get the amnesia, Alzheimer's, all this different stuff. They're telling me they don't know no better. Are these are just willful acts? That's what you say. Make it, are they don't know no better? They get a bit Alzheimer's,
well,
no?
even okay, no, but if you give
I'm
me,
trying to understand.
if you give me a game that I could play, and if I
Yes,
play the game well, I don't even got to do these things. Let's just play this game well.
I got you.
Well, why not just play the game? Because I play the game of keeping the people divide and rule. I cuss them there, or ignore the noise and study with them there and wherever man and wherever I say, and when the time comes for the election, close the election,
Yes, son.
start up some
So we are
projects and
gonna get sweet potato. We are gonna get tomatoes. We are gonna get bell peppers. You see? We are gonna get papaya. You see what I'm talking about? And this is carnival in sync. It's sugar mass. Two is about to come in the next 2 weeks. In the next week and a half, you gonna only have, along with myself, or no one other farmer will be harvesting some melon. And I don't sure if you have the amount of melon as myself have planted. I have over an acre. You see me too, along with pop. So and between me and that farmer, the melon not gonna last. You understand? For no time. So there ain't any food anywhere. So when the minister jump up, agriculture now harvest one thing, agriculture plant to us, they got nothing plant. You see what I mean? But whereas in a sense, we need a lot more training, all these different stuff. And that's why you see, I went along with personal training. 'Cause you can't have too much of training and training with inside the school system. Because you see, you mentioned earlier about the sixth farm and the high school and the greenhouse and stuff like that. I remember working along with you. And what you're teaching the youth them also is just the marketing part of selling the same food and how to make money. I remember one time passing the school and the whole school yellow. Everybody, a teacher, this, that, person, got a yellow watermelon. I said, what the hell with this? You change up the whole, yeah man. There was a different outlook that you brought into the school system when it come to
But
students
but Banky,
just,
even as you were talking earlier about the government giving
but,
out these
but before we
seedlings.
go into that, yeah, so before we go into that, let me go through some of the comments and let me big up some of those people who are tuning. We have people from St. Kitts, from New York, from all over the US tuning in and stuff like that. So let me go through some of the comments. There are people really tuning and listening. So it shows we really have to show appreciation. This is Friday and people out having fun and people here locking in listening to me and you. So it seems that
Yeah,
we
so
really appreciate it. Doesn't matter
well,
where
I
we are,
remember
people
remember
are
I
really
got in
appreciate.
remember I got in a little bit late because I had to go for the device a bit late, you know. So I get in when Gigi said, hey, yeah, live on a Friday. And then the next comment from Gigi, she said,
Yes, I
well, that second
every Friday
phase
from now
ain't
on.
coming. Yeah, that second phase ain't coming
And let me,
anytime soon. Cause the first phase almost looking like second phase. These I guess these are some comments that would have been coming from the earlier part of the conversation. Um,
okay.
and then she said, "Bad kind of politics that down there looks so. Keep up the good works at Mansas." So I guess she giving you a big
Give
up
thanks.
and that.
Yeah man,
Yeah,
give thanks
I
on
see
that.
some new
Appreciate
numbers
it.
logging in.
Mm-hmm.
Elvan Ellis said, greetings all. Thanks for the invite,
Yes,
family.
I.
Um,
Yeah man, give thanks.
I see Owens Irving had a question. He asked if the 25 by 25 didn't apply to Nevis. Um,
Of course.
technically, not technically. Let me take out the word technically. It's not
The,
technically.
chi-
It
the first
applies.
chairman
It
was
applies
John.
to St. Kitts and Nevis.
All the
However,
planning was done. Yes.
seemingly from what I am gathering from underground, is that
Mm-hmm.
from ministry to ministry, much of what the farmers could have and should have benefited from was and is not necessarily happening. But
Yes.
individual farmers would have sought to
Yes.
get assistance for other farmers via that process, but doing
Yes.
it on their own by reaching out
Yes, I.
to the PSR, the minister, and Kitts directly to benefit. So farmers on Nevis would have benefited. So I don't want people to go away thinking that nobody, no farmer
Yes.
benefited from the 25 by 25 agenda that
But
was
not
set
through the
aside by the
department and
federal.
ministry nevis. Yes.
But from the knowledge that we have, not necessarily from the Ministry of Agriculture in on Nevis, linking directly with the ministry and St. Kitts to make or to
Yes.
facilitate these things. But it was done via local farmers or local farmers organizations to look out for their farmers and would have gotten certain
Yes, I.
things on their own link up. So yes, ounce, it applies to Nevis, but that is the situation where seemingly, even though sometimes things are supposed to be done on a federal level, sometimes I don't know. So I don't want to, I just don't know. Gigi
Yes,
says
son.
spiritual warfare going on, yes, son. Then she said those games have demonic presence. People don't look at those things. It's a setup for the devil to gain souls. Um, and then she said that double murder in Jamaica recently. Oh, that's a double murder in Jamaica. Yeah, lots of things going on. Yeah, it's a spiritual warfare, as you know, she point out, you know, but we got to get within ourselves, you know, we gotta, you know, spend some time and do some introspection, you know, like check yourself and, you know, start to really like have a paradigm shift. Yeah, take a different look at life, and farming is one way which can bring you back to nature, bring you back to
But yes, son. But what reason why wouldn't Nevis be talking about the 2025 agenda and the minister never talk about it for over all these times since it started? Because you see what I mean. Because what I also mentioned when the premier started the House of Assembly, when it went to start the debate, he started talking about what they not the premier. I stand to be corrected. I think I was listening to the next radio station where I think it's Mr. Brand and the next radio station on the Tuesday night was saying that most of 2024 was spent around getting Culturama ready for 2020 for the 50th anniversary. And I say, okay, you have a whole year activities to do, and and all the resources and everything was just focused around culture. I was astonished when I hear he made a comment. I was saying I think Mr. Van fell asleep at the mic because I didn't understand why he would even utter such a remark. That is so bold. You also said just for 50th anniversary. So that's why money was moved from agriculture into culture, and farmers can be can benefited. I've stood at my uncle farm with no assistant, zero assistant, and you see, and I ain't crying. You understand? I have no reason to cry. I don't cry. You understand? You know what I'm saying? And it's not like I didn't reach out to the department almost 2 weeks before it started for a cost, so at least I could start give them money so they go and prepare the land and all this different stuff. Whereas it costed me 250 from one excavator instead of 350, and 200 instead of 250, and 100 instead of 150 by discounted prices from these operators, private operators. You understand? And then when me done, they're gonna come and ask if me want help. Well, when me want help, what dig back up everything me plant? Because me understand. When we don't plant, you come back ask me what more help you do what? Dig back up everything we don't plant. Can you understand that? I'm good. You know what I'm saying? You're not serious. Because these are just willful acts.
but
You
but
see?
then but then again, you see, this is what I'm just hearing from you. Yeah, you just point out something that you said, that monies were taken from the agriculture budget to go into Culturama, to support. So that in itself is showing you that they're not serious about agriculture, because the agriculture budget generally is always too small already. And if it's done too small already, and you have an agenda to sort out, you're supposed to meet this 25 by 25 agenda, then that's supposed to be your priority. And then even on the other side of that, if you're bringing in people as we're talking about, then the money could have gone into really getting back the food orchard back into a position where you could have really had some serious activities going on down there, and bringing people out and letting people, spend some money down there, spend a day down there, set up a nice little juice bar, set up a nice little,
Don't
what I
we're talking
mean,
about your son. Don't we?
Indian castle. So
To
I'm
do what?
saying the money that I mean, the money
Do
that they
what?
take out the agriculture, what I'm saying, instead of taking it out the
Uh-huh.
agriculture and put it into culture, if they were really serious about
Yeah.
agriculture, I am just giving a suggestion of what they could have done with that money in agriculture instead of putting
Uh-huh.
it into culture. They could have
I got you.
put that money into setting back up the
Mm-hmm.
Indian orchard like how it was when you had it. Adding a nice little juice bar and a nice maybe little
Yes.
eatery, a little place where you could, make use of the food that you're going and show that farm to table
Yes, son.
concept
You
and so
move too
on.
fast. You go too fast. You go too fast. And that's what I was told. You're moving too fast. No, no, you're going too fast. You're going too
Okay.
fast, yes, son. You're going too fast. You're going too
And that they tell
fast,
you?
yes,
Are you
son.
serious?
Yes, son, you're going too fast. You see what I'm at, right? When you hear you're going too fast, trying to move on and close the door. And you're going too fast, yes, son. We talk, yes, son, you're going too fast. So that is comedy hour to you're going too fast, yes, son. Wait, my brain, come out to my brain, man. Come out to my brain. You're so you're an SJ working, why working spiritual, why working science, tell me come out to my
Somebody
brain.
got. Wait, hold on. I see a question on the post here. Bulby Jones asks, so if one island fail at the 25 by 25, how can the federation on a whole succeed? But in my humble opinion, when 25 when 2025 gets here, they are going to announce that they were successful.
The year not done yet. We're talking about when you get here, the beginning of the year. The year have to done first. So 2025, the beginning of the
So
year.
no. No, so what he's saying though, well, yeah,
That's you.
we
Of
need to
course.
clarify that for true to make sure that they understand is that by the end of 2025. But what he's saying
Yes.
though, by the end of that, they're going to announce
Of
that they
course.
were successful
With which farmers?
by meeting the
Or you
agenda,
want to
successful by meeting the agenda, by meeting the 25 by 25
oh,
agenda. And that's what he's talking about, you know. So
oh,
he's saying if one island fail
oh,
at the 25 by 25 agenda, how can the federation
yes,
on a whole succeed? But in his opinion,
true.
his humble opinion, when the
Yes,
25 when 2025 get here,
of
they are
course.
going to
You
announce
don't
that they
win.
are successful. So that is what he's saying. He can say
Of
that
course.
they're gonna make a big announcement to say that yes, we made it. Because it's the same thing. When I listen to you and I listen to some of the complaints from other farmers on Nevis, and then
Yes.
you listen to the minister, like you listen in the budget, and you hear all of these things going on and all of these, you know, I mean, you would say, well, yeah, man, things really happening in Nevis.
Remember, in the house, you can say anything you want, You can say, tell the people want if you made the minister talk about, if it's me talk about harvesting melon and all this thing, because all they may harvest melon, so you want if I may you promote. I would say, no, sir, minister not promote me in that way, in that serious. But I mean, I don't look at it like my thing to always make sure provide safe and healthy food to the general public, which I've been always doing all the time and within the department and stuff like that. Do you understand? Giving my 1,000% and producing food at all times.
But
The
Banky,
watermelon, yes,
you 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 I am really loving your approach, and I must give thanks for the works that you have been doing and you are doing in terms of,
give thanks.
you know, keeping agriculture at the forefront, as a topic and as an agenda and as something that is very critical and
Because I
serious
want young people to realize,
to the
yes, I want young
Federation
people
of
to
Thinkers.
see
And
and understand agriculture is a profession you can pick up and whichever area you want, subsector, and live just like anybody else. Have vacation, buy whatever vehicle you want to buy, live where you want to live, build whatever home you want to live. Don't think it's just about, you understand, walk up and down in a boots. And you understand, if you put in the right practices, like any other, and discipline yourself. When I go on my farm, when I leave the house for 6, I have to be there for 6:15. I don't leave till the sun setting on your son. Because I mean, at the government, when I go there for 6:30, before any worker reach there, when if they reach for 7:05, 1 minute to 7, they're lucky if you let them in the gate. If you're coming to work, you got to be there. But quarter to the hour or 10 2 minutes, because you have to get your gears and get to your point where you're working it. You're coming to gate 7 o'clock, and then by the time you reach to your post, you got what? A half an hour, because you want to sit down and eat breakfast. Well, not under my watch. You understand? It don't function. So 'cause when they go work for the white man and them and everybody else who don't look like them, they go slave and be there hour in advance. You understand? But when they're working for the civil, so and that's probably the civil service. But people like me who are disciplined and structured thing, make sure you're doing the work. The others who don't care. So if you have to give a bonus, when it comes to me, my increment in the civil service, a 1 is excellent, a 2 is good, a 3 is fair, a 4 is poor, a 5 million and a call in there. You understand? You need prayer and everything else to get to all one me do get. All one. You understand? All ones. If I get 1 or 2, but my average is all ones. When you have somebody like me, you understand? Who you get all ones? And then I'm gonna show you vibes. I will never talk about this live. Never talk about it. You understand? Ever. When you have someone like me, who not get increments for 2 years, 2 years, never get traveling allowance, ever. And don't complain, use my own personal vehicle and work. Because I'm serving the general public and I know they're looking out for me. And still I call me, and the other farmer call me a ball. The last things you know check for me, and I get one help from the department. I still will talk to your minister and the PS and whoever is in it. You understand? I understand how you feel, but I have no attachment with the other sad that you feel that way. I used to have extension officer who check for you. Imagine I was called to the office. First time I talk about this, and remember that. Human resources don't say, well, this gentleman haven't get increments for 2 years. 2 years, 2 years. Everybody don't get increments, but me not get none. But me not hot up my head because me live in it. Me not, extra dollar not gonna make any difference. But when I was called to come to I'm gonna go to the place. All the farms don't follow out your son. 2 farms, and then I still got increment to get the same year again. So 3 increment me have to get now. You understand? 3 increment, So you must let to get call them, let them know the situation. When we go to the office, to the director office, Mr. Elliott, all the 2 farms don't follow, so one more to do. All don't follow, all me have to do sign. You understand me tell you? I waiting for that be all ones. Confident they have in me. I don't even have to do the question because you understand my work self. That's all me going there for your son, Then waiting happen. The director gonna tell me you're supposed to move to forestry officer and this is the wages you're supposed to move up to. That's why the director tell me no. Me say, but me not coming here for this. Really? In the same way they say, but you not get it. I say, okay. Well, where is that? Because they say you're not qualified, but you do the work. Me say, well, then nothing wrong with that. But you understand that is a setup though. They're setting you up to tell me this. When I leave here, going across to the PS office. You understand? We going Rosie. So I say, well, who said this? He said, well, me life and the direct, he said, Mark, say so. The premier, the one who calling all the shot. Then here we say, everybody point. Here we say, Eric say, he have to talk to the civil service board. Brethren, if for one man in Nevis and in the world not care about money, and when you start to give me, I could work for $6 an hour. If it's owed to me, but if you want to tell me I'm supposed to get something and you not pay me, me gone. You understand? Because I'm in a debate, me not argue with you. Because money is my weakness. Because what I can do for you, I can do for myself 1,000 times over. Because when I gone, I know ain't nobody could fill my shoes. Guarantee that. And the evidence is there. So I tell them, well, they know me not do the next side. No. Understand that. So when I say me not do the next side, when I tell Zook so, and Huey so, and Randy so, you go see them melt. Melt. You see how they laugh? Because when you watch people in their face, you don't have to speak no. Your facial expression speak everything. Melt. You see? Everything shut down right there. Can't start. Because the one with the associate degree, ain't got the bachelor's, ain't got the master's, ain't got the PhD, and none of them in Nevis can do the work. Don't put in the time, can't do the work. Today, you see me don't get how much time me don't do since we done left them, travel, set up everything and still go. Only more me gonna go. So you see, when it comes to responsibility, the minister should not be getting no pay. When the premier talking about all this nonsense about responsibility and people who not still not doing no work, well, a lot of people in the civil service ain't supposed to be getting no pay. And that's why I was talking about how much people don't leave the Department of Agriculture again. Miss Vifus done gone. The PS done run since because micromanagement from the same minister again. You see? And others gonna go because don't tell the minister everybody gonna leave under his watch. So Morgan this next year and Morgan in the following year. Anybody gonna left back? You understand?
Well, the point I was getting to
Yes.
was the fact that one of the major areas that's lacking in terms of the agricultural component and syndicates and Nevis, as we're talking Nevis more specifically, is
Yes.
the marketing side. And I was getting to the fact that you seemingly have put yourself in that position where you're doing and even outdoing the ministry and what they should be doing, because you're just talking about a plane coming in every
Of
week
course.
to collect food, and you are setting yourself and programming yourself, and would have put yourself in that position where you could market not even just for you, but you can also now assist some other farmers who can
Of
align
course.
themselves with you and maybe meet up to the
Of course.
standards that you are going, because you
Yes.
would have to meet certain standards. um and
Yes.
now you create a marketing space, and that is just now for the
Yes.
raw materials. Imagine now
Yes.
if the marketing focus themselves on creating even more value added products, and so that they could be in that position where, as you were asking, if they're just going to give them these first set of seedlings to go, and then after that, what happens after that?
Of
um,
course.
then they can be in a position where they can really tell the farmers, okay, yes, when you bring in how much ever pounds, we could take it off for you at an agreed price. So you can accept, so a farmer can know, well, hey, if I put in this crop of pumpkin, no matter how much pound I get, marketing gonna take it off of me. If I don't have a market, outside at least I know marketing taking it off of me, because marketing no, maybe they're making pumpkin flour, or they're making a pumpkin soup, or something that they're putting in, cans or bottles, or they're making pumpkin chips or something, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But it is that sort of strategy that needs to be in place, so that we can create that sort of guarantee for the farmer, so that a man can seriously, a man or woman, when I say man, I don't want
Of
people to
course.
think, but an individual can say to themselves, well, yes, um, I am going to put in a crop, because I know at the end of this crop here, I am guaranteed making at least $2 a pound. And when they do the calculation, they should know, well, all right, I should at least get back my water money, get a profit, you know what I mean, be able to take care of my bills and put something aside for a rainy day. Um, and this is the kind of, thing that is going to be, important and necessary for us as we move forward. And if those who are at the helm in agriculture is serious about taking us up to that point where we can even get close to the 25 by 25 agenda and then surpass it, because 25 should be a small milestone. The whole idea should be that you get to the point where you're, if not 100%, maybe up in the 90s, reducing it down to 90, at least you're getting 10%. If you import 10% or 15, even 20,
Mm-hmm.
but majority of your food should be grown, because you have the ability also to process
Of
these
course.
things. Like, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I really wonder if, like I'm saying, like what I'm pointing out in terms of the games that leadership play for
Yeah,
political
son.
expediency, if that is
They're
not
not
the reality
serious.
as it is. Because
I just.
here's it, they got a relationship with one of the top people in technology, which is Taiwan, and they lead in terms of a lot of agricultural technology and practices and so on. But they use these people to get a little hundred, to build a little this and a little that, and to seriously get into the things like, tissue culture and some of the different technologies
Yeah,
that could
son. You
take
want to cut
agriculture
it up
to a
my head
whole
there.
different level. Which are going too fast.
You're gonna get up my head. I just have to tell you, tissue culture. These are where we're supposed to go. These labs.
But that's what I'm
This,
saying.
that's the whole point.
Like, why
Exactly.
are we not using these relationships
Yeah.
with these people, so that we could equip our students and young people coming out of school and give them these different
Yes.
kind of technologies in agriculture, so that now we can bring ourselves to that point where, what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the man got a tissue culture where they use the pineapple, where is the skin, the man, what I mean, and
Of course. Yes.
they get hundreds and hundreds of pineapple of the same variety and same strain and so
Yes.
on, and be able
Of
to
course.
replicate that and so on. I mean, it's not rocket scientists. It's a part of the science. You know, there's the
Yes.
agriculture, and it's called agricultural science because there's a
Yes.
scientific
Of
aspect to it
course.
and the technological aspect to it. And so we need to continue to make it more appealing to a lot of the young people. A lot more of the young people coming out of
Yes.
school. You know,
Yes.
people like you, people like Danny Atherton, people like Young Paris, you know, with
Yes.
me by the A1, Mackie
Okay.
Trust,
Yes.
you know, who have been seeking to do a lot in terms of changing the mindset of people, of the average people, to see agriculture from a different perspective and realize that, which is one of the great things about agriculture that I love. There's no need to hide nothing from nobody. You know what I mean? Like,
That's the whole
farmers don't
exactly.
necessarily see the farmers as competition because the market
That's
is
the
so
it's
wide
yeah,
and
that's
deep,
it. Yes.
right? The market is
Yes.
so wide
That's
and deep because if everybody in
yes.
Nevis even decide where we're going to just grow tomato, there's a market
Yes.
out there for as much tomato as you grow
Yes.
and still
That's the
more.
whole point.
You can't
That's the whole
supply the
point.
world demand. That's what I'm saying.
Is
The
it?
marketing is critical because now it's just now to
Yes.
create the market,
That's it.
seek out the market, not create it, sorry, seek it out, find it, find who need it, where and when and how often, and get it there.
Yes.
And then you
Well,
organize
that is what I'm
yourself
about.
now and your farmers
Yes.
now to supply.
That's it. And that is all I'm
It's
focusing
that
on
simple.
getting. You understand? Dry coconuts, banana, melon, carrots. Is everything is needed. You see what I mean? Everything is needed. Is today I'm talking to someone in Mousetrot and telling me bell peppers is $22 and so forth in Mousetrot. $10 a pound, $8 to $10 a pound watermelon and all these things. So
That's what I'm
I
saying. And
we
look how close the market is, just next door.
yes,
Why a
yes,
boat have to come from Dominica to take it to Montserrat and to take it to Anguilla and take it to Saba and Saint Martin and Statia? Not that I have a
but they will
problem with
take
our
it,
brothers and sisters
they will
from
bring it but they will
Dominica.
bring
I'm
it
just
here
looking at,
too. But
no, I
they will
know,
bring
but
the
I'm just
food here
looking at the
too.
distance. But I'm saying that's what I'm saying.
They'll bring the food here
Well,
too. So we not plant
you,
neither.
I was about to make that point when you said something earlier because I was about to tell you, well, oh, when you said about no potato and not this and not that and it's carnival, I
Yeah.
was about to tell you, well,
Nothing.
tropical coming in and the Dominica boat
Yeah,
gonna
but
come in, so the man not worry about that. They know
that's it.
they're gonna meet the demand not necessarily by the local farmers, so they will
Yes.
say that they're not scarce because they're gonna get them.
True.
You know, but
That's
is that
it.
mindset now that we need to change, that we need to now put ourselves in that position that we could have our farmers now grow these things and have these things on a regular basis that we could significantly reduce so that the Dominica boat now, instead of having to come every week, now maybe just come every 2 weeks, because let them go St. Martin or somewhere else. And then we get to the point that we could even send to them other islands, you know?
Yes.
Um, that is what we should be moving forward to, that kind of forward thinking. That brings me to something also where the pepper production is concerned, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I do totally understand the opportunity from an investment side, from a contribution side, in terms of being able to have some of our farmers um, going for an international company, and it is going to help to, in any case, they will learn certain things that they would need
Oh,
to transfer to themselves, the local farmers.
but but where you're getting at? Remember, we not. I tell you earlier, I'm not sure if what the agreement is, so somebody need to come clear and speak to how this thing gonna go. If farmers gonna be involved growing this, from what I understand, this is a government thing that have to do with farmers, so I need this to be right before getting to talking about it. So I need the ministers in Nevis, in Sinkit, the director, whoever is the PS, wherever, come and say what is
But
it, how this thing moving forward. That's what I do attempt to tell you, Carl. From
well,
what I'm
okay,
hearing,
I
it's
need some
nothing like
clarity
the
myself
farmers
though.
growing nothing.
But
Yes.
I thought that's what I saw. There was a presentation, and on the presentation it said, I think 10 acres of land was set aside, and
Uh-huh.
they brought in seedlings already, and seedlings were given
Uh-huh.
to certain farmers to grow already. So I think some acreage of
Certain
it is supposed to
farmers.
be under cultivation right now. Well, designated farmers. I don't know who farmers sign up with them to be a part of that process, but seemingly
When Nevis,
there is some sort of
in
no
Nevis,
Sinkits and
only the
Sinkits
government, I
and
know.
Sinkits.
Well, Nevis,
I don't know about Nevis. No,
Nevis government going to some of the peppers at Indian Castle. That is what
what
right
for
now,
that
presently.
same project? For that same project?
Yes, I don't know. I don't know no farmers that growing no peppers in Nevis and not in Sinkits. Agriculture growing pepper. I know about no farmers growing the peppers. I know about that. I
Okay.
stand to be
Okay.
corrected, but
I
I
stand to
know
be
one
corrected
farmer
as
in
well.
Nevis. You understand? So I need some
But okay,
clarity.
let me get to
Nothing is
my point.
yes,
Okay, let me leave that there then.
yes,
I'll leave that there until we get
yes,
some clarification. Um,
yes.
what I was getting at though, as much as I embrace that opportunity and see the benefits or some of the benefits from it, I, however, would have love and still would love to
Mm-hmm.
see a similar approach being taken in the aspect of seeking to develop the brands that we have already on St. Kitts and Nevis that are making some waves and really need that push on the international market to be able to be in direct competition with Mr. Tabasco or Tabasco pepper sauce. And
Those
we
are another
have
problem, yes, son. Yes, son.
no,
Those are
no, no.
another
It's not a
problem.
problem.
Yeah, what
All
I'm
right,
saying,
let
right?
me.
On that same trip, when we're at Southern University, two members from the FDA, Food and Drug Administration from the federal government, was at the university who was a part of our executive meeting, who cried and panther and let us know. We will come down and train you guys so guys can export value added products, sour drinks, tea bags, whatever it is, bananas, whatever training. We'll pay and fund these training. We want you all food to ship to the US. Them a ball, them a beg. I don't tell all this information is given and write up is given when I come back. I ask give a write up when I travel, you know. The last travel I come back from Indonesia, I give a whole write up and send it into both federal in the St. Kitts and Navy. It's the same thing when I was in, you understand, Southern University. When I go to Morocco, I don't know about anybody else, but I give full write up and recommendation. So they know all these things. You see what I mean? They know this will want to help, want to train is is the bit in front. I make sure that meetings
No, no,
can
no.
come down
But
here.
I am hearing that, and
Yes,
I am grateful for all that because I would add more to what I'm saying. But what I'm saying,
yes,
for example, like Evis, one of the top persons we know is Llewellyn, right? In terms of pepper
yes.
sauce. You have a lot of other processors
Of
who do
course.
pepper sauce. I know Emmonteen and there are other people who do
Shatan, Miss
pepper.
William one. Of course.
Okay,
Even though
good.
Miss William one.
So
Yes. That's a,
so and then and St. Kitts, I know Brimstone Flavors is
of
one of the
course.
top
Yes.
brands, which is recognized
Uh-huh.
nationally and it is on
Yes.
high demand internationally. So what I am
Good.
saying
Yes.
is, why not also find a way also then to, since you already done sign this agreement in Tabasco, because I might just say invest in them first then, but Tabasco done in the mix now. But why not also find a way to assist them
Of
with
course.
having a steady supply of whatever ingredients they need to do the pepper sauce? Because based on the research that we would have found, pepper sauce is one thing that you could never have too much of the pepper, because how they
Mm-hmm.
do it is that they create
Preserve it.
a kind of mesh where it is stored,
A mash
and then
and
the longer it is
yes,
stored,
of
the
course.
better and the
Flavor.
better the pepper get and so on, right? So which
Yes.
means
Yes.
in a production cycle like that, then
Mm-hmm.
whoever is processing, as long as they have the capacity to process,
Yes.
then they could always be taking. So if as a farmer, if you have other farmers now who might not be going for Tabasco, but might be going for Brimstone
Of course.
Flavors, going for
Yes.
Llewellyn, going for whoever, and they're not just growing now, but also now seeking to maybe develop a relationship with Tabasco now to include these in the marketing strategy, and maybe wherever these Tabasco go, these products from St. Kitts and Nevis go, do you
Yes,
owe marketing to get them out there still, but focus on taking your brands to the world so that when you
of
go
course.
into a regular supermarket in the US, instead of just seeing Tabasco up front, now you start to see
Mm-hmm.
Brimstone flavors. Now you start to see Llewellyn. Now you start to see Emontina, Chattans, and
Well,
whoever
yes, well,
else.
that area there, I'm surprised no work been done when it come to trade within the FDA and start like get up and training and stuff, moving forward with some of these like L'Oreal and you understand other agro processors and those who have the interest who do agro processing. And as I said, these things that is just to set up this thing with Southern University. What you need training with the FDA. Remember, Southern University and the federal government, they funded, they pay their own trips, you know. So in that case, federal government thinks it's nothing. This is how serious these people are because they are accustomed of taking these things to Africa. Because Africa, the Caribbean don't reach out to them. You see what I mean?
Yes,
So it's just
yes.
because you understand. So I got to big up Hattie
I can attest to
Claxton
that.
and her husband because of making this link because everything is Africa. So all the projects going to Africa and the Caribbean is right there, and we got and plus is so the connection is right there because the people in Louisiana in Baton Rouge is of Haitian descent. You see what I mean? It's Caribbean people, it's our people. You
And
understand? So the
apart
whole
from that, to Banky,
yes,
even though sometimes the Caribbean is ignored, it-
yes,
well, sometimes when the Caribbean do get involved, it's the bigger countries, the Bahamas and the, Barbados and Trinidad and so on. And a lot of the
yes,
times, there's no representation from these smaller islands, and a lot of people don't even know
of
about these
course,
smaller islands. Like,
of course,
so,
yes.
just like you are saying, a lot of the
They didn't know
times,
about us.
a lot of
They
things
didn't know
are
about us.
available,
Yes,
and it's available to Africa and Latin American
yes,
territories and so on.
yes,
But it's
exactly.
only
That's
when
it.
you get yourself in those spaces and you say, hey, well, what about the
Yes,
Caribbean? And you start to ask questions. What about, they're like, well, we didn't know, and now
wait,
they know. Then they could
exactly. Yes.
start to. But so, but then the thing is, sometimes to Banky, um, these people who are in these positions sometimes know these things, but they don't
Of course.
afford. There are people who are in some of these positions or in some of these ministries, you know, because, for example, um, I myself experienced that a couple of years back. I remember I went to a workshop in St. Lucia, and this workshop was set up, and this is how I know the long time Banky that we're not really serious about agriculture. This was the trainers workshop that was set up by a European organization called COLI-ACP.
Yeah,
Their
son.
thing was to
If someone
go ahead.
wanted, it seems like somebody wanna call in. If they wanna call, they wanna call my phone and put it to the speaker. That's what they're gonna do. If somebody wanna call, how we gonna work that? We're not got a line yet.
Well,
Or they're gonna
yeah,
work for now.
I guess you,
That work?
I guess you could do that. Yeah, you could get them the number and
Okay.
the option if they want to call WhatsApp, if they want to call
Okay.
regular, and then
I got you. No
then you could just
problem.
put the
I'll tell
call on
them that.
speaker. Yeah.
All right, no problem. You go ahead, your son. Any comments to read while we had the short pause and I can continue?
Um. Well, we just had Owen Heiliger said greetings, and then Gigi said the politicians are focused on money, not the welfare and healthcare of the people. Um. That's sometimes the sad part of the story, but um we gotta be starting to think like that, and that's what I was saying in terms of, oh, I think I remember where I was in terms of um us not getting the opportunities in some cases to to take advantage of things that are available. Telling you that the last workshop I went to was a Cole ACP
Yes.
workshop, and the ACP was really that part is the African, Caribbean, and Pacific territories. And what happened with that
Mm-hmm.
organization was that their mission was to get root crops imported into Europe. So what their mission was to go to these different territories and train the people. They paid for
Your
people to
son.
come to get. to get the
I got,
training. Yeah,
let me
take the
take this
call, take
call
the
there, your
call.
son, and then
Yeah, man, the program goal. How you mean? To get back to
good,
that.
good caller.
Yeah, good evening to you fellas, man. How you guys doing, man?
We good, we good. Give thanks for calling.
Yeah, I had like a different type of question tonight. We see Sinkis and Nevis, right, have diplomatic relationship with Taiwan. You know, we're not seeing them hook up with no African countries, no black countries. You know, we see the movement that's going on in the west coast of Africa with Burkina Faso as a big shining prime example for the world in terms of and progress. Niger, and the other country there, the third country, I can't pull it up my brain right now. But we've seen them three countries, they form a federation and they're forging ahead. And we in the Caribbean, we're not looking at Africa in any regard to make any type of relationship. But let me get back to the Taiwan situation. We got a diplomatic relationship with Taiwan, and we are not seeing Taiwanese moving into St. Stevens as that relationship, you know, agreement is there. It's like more Chinese coming in than Taiwanese. You know, what I'm driving at is if we have diplomatic relationship with Taiwan for so long, why aren't we using them to advance the agriculture sector, like Yasan said, and to improve our country in technology and move us forward to keep up with the time? And my concern is with the Chinese coming in, we know how they move, right? What happens when the Chinese start taking over the banking system? Suppose they just merely start like cashing people's checks, like at the cash checking spot, like suppose the Chinese them start, you know, opening up like check cashing facilities, because we see those type of facilities in America where, you know, people can go into these facilities instead of a bank.
Yes.
Instead of a bank.
Yes.
So my concern is my two concern is, why are we not influxing Taiwanese instead of Chinese, sorry, and using them to advance? And my second concern would be, what will Sinkis and Nevis look like in the future if the Chinese start taking over the banking system? Those are my two concerns, man. You guys keep doing your thing, man. And I wish you guys the best going forward. Keep up the good works. And that's all I wanted to ask, man. Thanks.
All right, give thanks. Thanks for calling, caller.
Yeah, and the country. So talking of Passenger and Mali, as he was talking about. I want to respond to those he addressed. I am in total agreement. I find, and that is one of the things I must also add. Like, and he was taking that trip and went to Africa, and you know would have spent some months over there and just broadcasting in terms of in those territories. I am seeking right now. I'm a part of a couple of African groups and organizations, and that project that I spoke about is one as a result of a part of that African organization farm model. We need to seriously look at the fact that Africa is the rising territory. Just like China, everybody is looking to Africa right now as news in economy, and a lot of leaders, so to speak, are waking up, and a lot of changes are going on right now. We have a couple of elections. I would have heard that the new president of Ghana is in line with the that's going on with Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso as well. And so there's a sort of a way consciousness that's going on. As we speak to Ghana, and as brother talk about why are we not seeking to develop more relationships with Ghana? In a recent post I did on LinkedIn, there I hinted to the fact that, for example, Kenya is one of the leading territories in the world that is dealing with geothermal energy right now. Why are we not seeking to link up with Kenya and see if we could really materialize for thermal energy and possibly and St. Kitts and Nevis? Ghana, in recent times, just a couple of weeks ago, they would have given citizenship to 500 and something people in Ghana, and they're open to welcoming people in the diaspora to come and do business in Ghana. Now, one of the challenges that I find, and I am wondering if it is lack of negotiations in regards to our ministers who seek to set up diplomatic relationship with these countries, or if it's just that, for them, their own agenda, so they don't even think about that other side. But one of the things that I find is with our relationship with some of these African territories, the visa-free access is only one way. So, for example, I don't know if it has changed, but in relation to Ghana, for example, a Ghanaian would not necessarily need a visa to travel to St. Kitts and Nevis. But if I am traveling from St. Kitts and Nevis to Ghana, then I need a visa to enter. So you find in the diplomatic relations, it's all good and, that they say, oh, they got visa-free access to these territories. It gives the passport a good recognition because a lot of these foreign ministers, that was the objective, to seek to boost the passport because they know that they're pushing this citizenship by so with high ratings and diplomatic relations with a lot of these different territories. And then you find that in some cases, the diplomatic relations is just what it is, just diplomatic relations. Nothing is done. Relationships in terms of exchange of skills and knowledge, and with all these that we have relationships with Africa. We're thinking putting Mandarin in the schools, but we ain't thinking about putting no African language. I mean, they would argue that Africa have many languages, but let's even settle with Swahili since that's one of the more popular ones, but at least you teach one predominantly a society. So all of these things, Banky, shows where the mindset of our leadership is in regards to ourselves and in regards to future relations with Africa. In regards to Thai question and Chinese, it speaks to sometimes leaders and one, the decisions that they make without consultations with us, and two, sometimes I wonder if they're really fully abreast with international situations and the sort of they put us at when they choose to do certain things without even really thinking through certain things. Because I find that there's a big thing in our region. In the Caribbean, we have CARICOM, and within CARICOM, you have countries that have diplomatic relations with Taiwan, and you have some that have diplomatic relations with China. So, what happens if China, so to speak, really war with Taiwan, similarly like how Ukraine and Russia got a war, because it's a similar situation where China is claiming Taiwan, that Taiwan belongs to them, and Taiwan is claiming the independence, right? So if that is supposed to happen, what happens then? China is going to be looking for wherever they have allies, because this is how these things operate on an international basis. So then you may have what? Some CARICOM members might have to go to war Taiwan, and then some Caribbean territories go to help Taiwan fight against China. I mean, so these are some of the sort of things and issues that, because we don't get consultations and outside to take whatever side and vote for whoever. And I guess a lot of the people don't understand the implications of a lot of these things, and they're ignorant to how some of these things operate, and sometimes don't necessarily see these things happening, so to speak. They don't see, it's unlikely that something like that is going to happen. You know, like, what's the likeliness of that? And how does that, how does that have any serious effect, if affect us in to any serious degree? But we see what's happening with Haiti right now, right? Where we have soldiers from Kenya, Jamaica, and I don't remember which other Caribbean islands happen to be on Haiti, seeking to, as they claim, create peace with what's going on there. So it's important for us to look at the implications, the global implications, and look at these things from a global perspective. So I would say great points brought to the table, Bulby Jones.
Definitely, yes, son. There's a lot going on right now, and all these things gonna affect the food within this region. You see what I mean? War and this thing affect your livelihood, and people tend to overlook these things because the boats them coming here. That doesn't mean we don't have a food crisis. There is a food crisis, and which means the food import bill keep going up and up and up. So we really gotta come better than this. You can't tell me the amount of rain falling, and right now when it come to harvesting of water, these are stuff. Right now, no, the island, they're drilling some wells throughout the island of Nevis and stuff like that. But what? So how this gonna benefit farmers? They want to increase food security, the 25 agenda. Ain't nothing been talk about when it come to providing whether it's storage tanks and all this and all this. Nothing has been done when it come to facility. And also, case we didn't have. I remember my Uncle Mansa being around those dams that were the ponds that were built by the Canadian in the late 80s.
A leader from Westbury, coming down from
Yes.
Spring Hill.
Oh, each of a million gallon of water. I know being around my uncle man, he has told me that those things were supposed to hook up long time, but there was a project where water department, as alleged, used the pipe to do some work at the main road over, so never been replaced, and the project have never been pipe have never been laid. And the government also laid the pipe. And the farmers have
But
get the association kids, the association have get the pipe, and the government has used the pipes and it was supposed to bury them. That's what the plan. The farmers then get the pipes, the resources, and the government part of it was to lay the pipe. And but the department is alleged to use the pipe for some other project, and with that, the government will never bought back the pipes, and that was it. So wells is up there. You have a million gallon of water up there in treating up there, right? Three of them are four.
it's 3 or 4. I know at some point somebody used to raise some fish and so in one of them and so on.
And
But
that's been
that
since
was
a
the whole
long,
idea. The
long
whole
time.
idea was to supply water. Yeah,
Yes.
like the whole idea was to supply water for the farmers lower down. Farmers would have never been out of water because you'd have had those
But it's
catchments,
still but
and
it's
then they would have.
but they're still there. But they're
They
still
can still
having
be
water.
operational, you know. Yeah, they still
Oh,
can be
that's what I'm
made
saying. So
operational.
and plus and
So
some I don't know. If we're gonna do it forward right now, we gotta encourage young people to get into agriculture and change the mindset, and the minister and the ministry have a way and a right and a necessity to push this agenda. One of the main things we gotta do to go things forward is to make sure there's a program in place for the school, all the schools, because and a budget in place so that the schools them can get a budget, proper greenhouse and a system, because as every year resources will be needed. But if there's a proper program being put in place, because I already asked to transfer to run the school, do the school program them, but nobody want to let me go. You see, because I was supposed to be working with education within the schools, the primary school, and stuff like that, and secure a school, have the school, the primary school, and with the school garden, have a school farm, which will be managed and make sure
Yeah,
the
and
school,
then
and they spend so much money.
all the
You
cafeterias would
understand?
have to buy no fresh fruits
Exactly.
and
All that was in place.
vegetables. You know what I
That
mean?
was about that.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't. Yes, exactly. I had said at the time was Mrs. Daniel, Renel Daniel, and stuff like that. Or he spoke with Wakely Daniel, but it never came off. And that was just the schools. Them much money. They don't have a garden, so the agriculture department have to get a serious program and make sure all the schools is mandatory have a school garden extension officers check for these schools and stuff like that. Because it's one thing I've enjoyed working with the schools, all the schools. You understand? But then there's the schools don't get no help, brethren. So how I don't try to understand how what is put in place when education have a budget. Because the school now get 1 cent to go to a garden, not 1 cent. So they just get beg, 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 beg. I don't get these stuff. Why we gotta move forward into the new year? But these things are not being put into the budget and all these things. So it shows there's not a plan for the school. There's no plan. No plan at all. When get to the point that once you have a school garden, one no, this is a all year round. Whether it's school out, school you still have to be using the farm. By the time you come back already, you
But
have plant up to be
that's one of the
harvested.
suggestions I had. That's one of the suggestions I had earlier on. I think maybe even 2 years ago, where I was
Yeah.
saying that they need to mandate that put it in the curriculum that they start agriculture primary, at least school, make it compulsory in secondary as an effort to show that they're really serious about food security and this 25 by 25 agenda. That could have been one of the
Yes.
serious measures taken to show that they're serious about food security. Put it in their
Of course.
curriculum that agriculture is taught in the primary school, and you set up the program that you're talking about there with the garden and so on. And then in the
Mm-hmm.
secondary school, let it be a fourth compulsory subject. Just like how history and maths and English is compulsory, let agriculture
Of
science be
course.
compulsory right up until fifth form. Everybody must do it to sea level. That will show that you're
That's
really
a good initiative.
serious. That was really 25 by 25 agenda because you're starting with the youths and you're getting them involved. And I even would go as far as taking it up to CFBC too. That just like how when you need to get into CFBC, you need to get maths and English and whatever. If not one of the subjects, must be a part of the program when you go there. So wherever you're studying, must study agriculture science as well and take it to whatever level. And that would demonstrate that you're really serious about agriculture and food security in that 25 by 25 agenda. And I saw some correcting me in terms of saying that they would have traveled to Ghana in 2022 without having to have a visa. But I know it is for some other countries, it's only one way. So I start to believe
Yes.
if Ghana is not one of those territories, but I know that it's only one way with some other African territories. But um, Birdman say only serious people a serious program. Yeah, banking, agriculture um is life. And until our people who are at the helm come to that realization. I think I heard um somebody on Freedom saying that today. I'm not sure if it was Sam or Juni or someone of them saying that, especially now that the CBI is
Mm-hmm.
going through the turmoil that it's going through. They can't continue to depend so heavily. It's another serious issue. The government, we are allowing these people to get away with not being creative, not being able to diversify the economy to the point where they are so dependent on the CBI. I mean, I listened to the Prime Minister, and even in the Premier's case, um, a lot of the even payment of salary and the basic operation of certain functions of government right now is being met by the funds out of the CBI. When, as I think I hear Sam was saying, some Canada, some too, but anyway, he was saying that the CBI shouldn't be the cake. It should just be the icing
Yes.
and the cake. But right now, it is the cake. It is been functioning as the cake, and they're eating off the cake. So he was saying that now that is happening, agriculture might be one of the areas to turn to in terms of diversifying the economy and so on. Which
Mm-hmm.
saying long time.
Yes.
Well, imagine only 200 million. Mind they're making billions, and we say we got an import bill of $200 million. Well, why not invest 200 million in agriculture and seek to put a plan in place that you can usually reduce that bill by at least even 50%, not even 25 now. Put in the full amount. You invest in the farmers, you set up your marketing strategy, you have your processing plan to create these value-added products, and you have these value-added products ready to be branded and meet the requirements of whether it's FDA or USDA or whoever else you need to, so you could get them out into these kind of markets, and you just make it happen. So you don't just have food for yourself, but you also now have agriculture as being a revenue generator, competing now with tourism. Agriculture could be bringing in more money than tourism if they are serious.
Yes, son,
And
we
there's
got
no
3 more
loss in it.
minutes. I was
No
just
loss
saying we
in it.
got
The
3 more
thing is just
minutes.
that you're going to be empowering your people. Okay, no problem.
Yes.
So
Well, we just
that is
met
what
back up late. We started late. So next 5 minutes, give and take, and we good. Then we continue from next week. We came back give about the extra half an hour time for we started the late show. But you did what you're saying, yeah, son, with the value added products and all this different stuff. And that's the right track that you're on. But go ahead.
yeah,
I just want to let
because
you know.
we can't compete. We can't compete in terms of land as like here in America. And so them we got hectares upon hectares of maybe one crop, right?
Yes.
Um, we now could have some smaller landscapes, land sizes, but focus on the value added now and present these value added products. There are markets out there for these tropical things that we have, whether it's the sugar apple,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's the custard apple, whether it's the sour sap, whether it's the, a lot of things that we have here taken for granted, tamarind, these different things that you could
Of
make from
course.
some of these things.
Yes.
The pumpkin flour, the breadfruit flour, all of these things, bread. Jamaica canning the ackee, Jamaica canning all kind of
Mm-hmm.
things you get in, all kind of things in
Yes.
can, jackfruit in can, you know what I mean? So
Of course.
we just have to start to think along these lines. Look how long Grace top on these things are in place. So even if all your farmers got that they could process this so that the farmers don't got to worry, just bring it in and you get your money. So we
That's
have to
right.
really begin to see it as a business, approach a business. I see that you're doing that and you're demonstrating that, Banky, but I'm talking now from the
That's right.
ministerial side and stop
Yes.
playing with the opportunities to diversify the economy, and agriculture is one of those serious ways where you could empower your people to become entrepreneurs, have their own business and businesses, because there are different areas that they can tap into, and be able to become brand ambassadors for themselves and their products. Like we could see, as we're talking about, we could see Llewellyn Tabasco, Llewellyn pepper sauce branded
Mm-hmm.
somewhere, some big company, some big chain decide that that is the only brand they're using. Brimstone flavors could be one of those peppers. Just like in almost every institution, you could see Tabasco sauce actually use sauces in a lot of these hotels and restaurants and so on. So imagine we seeing that with our Brimstone flavors and our Tans pepper sauce and Emmontin, and these are what we need to be aiming for, and we can seek to do to empower our people and get our people up to
And it can work.
level.
It's just for the ministries, as I said. The information is there. The contact number is there for Southern University and those in charge of the program with the animal and stuff like that. If they want and laid out for abattoir and processing unit, they are there. Can they have a processing unit? They have everything with the help of small farmers and with large and small ruminants to process the animals and all the different stuff. They have a complete abattoir processing unit. Everything is so it's not like the resources are not there for them to reach out. They don't want to build a processing unit and all these different or whatever they need to train when it comes to animal breeding program with the large ruminant, the cows and stuff like that. They have their own breed of cows that they cross with the Braham and the Red Pole. You want to say the animal like that for beef, 2,000 pound, you understand? And massive, yes. So all the contacts is there. I don't once I'm doing any traveling, you get all the information, all the data, whatever is needed when it come to and all the telephone numbers to move forward. So it's just for those in place to move forward. And if they choose to call, I choose to this. But if they come right in front of their face, they sit with them, they come to Nevis. Every time they come to sing it, they come up to Nevis. So Nevis can't say they're not a part of anything and they get left out. They've never been left out of anything since I've been a part of the trip. They always come over, sit with the minister and the PS and the director, or whoever is available at the time. You understand? And it's all been like that. But yeah, son, it's been 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I mean, we give them back some time for the late start, which would be from 7 to 9. But we started a little late. But we appreciate them all for sticking with us and their comments and the call that came in and stuff like that. But definitely want to say thanks for those who keep supporting Everything Agriculture and also Real Entertainment Network and also supporting Shabbos Organics at Masters Last Lot Case Bay. We'll be bringing in harvesting some watermelon the week or the same week of Christmas Eve. That will be not next week Monday, but the following Monday we start harvesting watermelon. Have a lot of soil coming in within after the following week, after next week, and that will take me straight into the new year. Very large crop of soil, and I have more soil planted to preparation for Agriculture Open Day in March. Looking forward for that, along with cannabis, and as I said, I'm going to include other growers. Should think it's Nevis get them to grow at least 2 to 3 plants, and also make them part of my display to show the different variation and the quality of herb that is grown within St. Kitts Nevis, and to show that all people have that skill set and the professionalism, and in no way why we keep banding and not addressing this situation when it comes to cannabis. And Nevis part of it, I mean, having a conversation about it, but I appreciate the agriculture department allowing me to take part in it. You understand? Even though the minister still feel his way about cannabis and stuff like that, I applaud the director and who else is there. Just make, and that's how you're supposed to live, because you shouldn't have to ask the minister nothing when it comes to these things. You understand? The civil service is set in a way where the director, the ministers, the ministers have reached a point where they want to dictate and control the paces. And that you see, but this thing gonna happen if they're politically appointed. You see? Sucking up. You give people to suck up and just micromanaging. Yeah, it cannot be effective. I don't call out Mr. Brantel already, you know. But here the minister he chose that minister as his deputy for what reason I don't know. And he's not. And the evidence is there. He's failing. By having an executive meeting with your staff and break all the protocol because one worker, because you and these workers are friends, and the director don't know you're going to come to a meeting and what the topic is about, and the PS and none of your staff is just the stuff you're discussing is stuff that everybody is watching that one, and you're rambling and cussing, disrespecting your staff. And since that the staff not take it, the staff don't care about the minister. You see, he put his foot in his mouth by breaking the protocols, not talking about cannabis, not talking about, you understand, the 2025 agenda, goes in the house and just also you started talking about 2025, you get those seedlings. I haven't get a seed, a pack of seed they were talking about. I haven't get a roll of wire, and they ain't giving out a wire that you're gonna get you're asked to go to JNF fence at Long Point and buy your wire, and you might get a discount. That now called when singular give out free resources. Does these things make any sense? Yes, son. The,
that that that
huh?
that
And what is
that is almost
surprising, no
unbelievable.
farmer, nobody asks the minister nothing when he goes on the premier shows and he asks on his shows. Nobody asks him no question, you know. And the farmers then venting and cussing every day when they see when they walk out. But then I ask minister no question, you know. Then I ask the director the question. Then I ask the whoever they ask me. You understand? They asked me. Yes, son. Me them ask, and then I ask the premier on the show. Then I ask Spencer Brand when he on the other radio show, part of the cabinet, what is about the 25? Everybody should be able to speak about the 2025 agenda, right? Any minister should be
Mm.
able to speak about, well, really and truly know the minister said, it shouldn't be a secret. It's common sense. So it shows there is nothing. So I'm still waiting to hear what is the plan for 2025. Because when next week it is January, we're going to talk about 2025, we're going to talk about openly. You see where I'm coming from? You, it's sad, eh? It's sad
Uh,
when I can speak more on the 2025 and sync it behalf and not on the Navy's behalf. But let me say thanks again to the general public who is supporting Shabazz Organics. I ain't have, yes, son. Every time I get called, somebody want 20 bag of sorrel, 10 bag, 20 bag, 10 bag, 10 bag. If if you have a 1,000 pound of bags of sorrel, you don't have enough. So I trying to understand Christmas will come, but nobody gonna sorrel. So well, support me them in the plant then. With the sorrel them there. No watermelon there. So seven spoon of plant, no sweet potato there. No pumpkin there. Me have about half is pumpkin. And the pumpkin that I chose to plant is so small pumpkin, so you don't have to cut them come like maybe 5 to 10 pounds. Almost like a melon. Very nice,
okay.
pretty, beautiful. Yeah. And three different varieties. A much larger one, but I plant more the small, a dark green skin one, and a small runner one, kind of oval. Very, very nice. So I'm not gonna keep those breed of pumpkin around. So you could just like buy a melon, you can buy a pumpkin the same when you ain't gotta worry about. You understand? Smaller need for fit in your fridge and then cut it steady and stuff like that. So just want to big up my virgin ounce. One of my media person who come around all the time and keep up for promoting Shabazz Organics and Monsters last stop. And my daughter Jamila in New York. You understand? Just want to always recognize them and my wife who always helping out when they come to getting my presentation up and running, make sure everything is proofread and stuff like that and stuff like that. So just want to show appreciation for all those who share the Shabazz Organic links, Advances Lifestyle when it comes to promoting and selling the products and all that. Just want to say give thanks, you understand, for being a part of the movement and make sure food security is at the top level when it comes in St. Kitts and Nevis and stuff like that. So really appreciate. Remember, this month, the 28th, will be cannabis workshop. So if you want to get in contact, be a part of the workshop, you can just show up at the day event at the Saturday, the 28th. It will be at 8 o'clock in the morning to like 9:30, and get to know anything you need to know about cannabis, from the history and the growth and the processing. It just give some training, and then we take a tour of the farm and stuff like that, and the next month in January, we'll do pest and disease management. So you have an idea. And our workshop could be done. If you miss the Saturday, you can come on the Sunday if you're available on the Sunday. And the farm is open from Monday to Monday. The farm don't close on half days on the farm. You want to do the workshop in the week, you just pay a small fee, just $40, and you can come by yourself. I would say it doesn't matter. The workshop will be done the same way, just in a professional way and stuff like the settings, and that's where you're gonna be. So yeah, son, it's our first show on a Friday, and I'm very appreciative for people being sticking with us instead of going out and doing whatever they usually do on Fridays. And they're probably even still out and just enjoying their drink and eating and still listening to us. So you cannot show enough appreciation when you have this kind of support within the
Yeah,
community
and
and stuff like that.
before we wrap up, a couple of comments came in. Aaron Atta Heiliger said that you should be Minister of Agriculture. She said they are not serious. And
Yes,
you were talking sorry, she was also saying that there's no ginger. That's another
the
thing that
ginger.
um No, ginger. Remember, ginger is one of the ingredients that people use
Of course,
to sell.
of course, yes,
So,
yes,
so that's something we don't go a lot of either. Most of the time, we depend
yes,
on outside for these things. So, these are things that we need as well too. Having these readily available on the market. Well, they take more time to grow, but to reach to the state of harvest.
yes.
Acreage and so on. Sometimes put in a couple rows of these and have a rotation the same way so that they could have some of these things on a regular. Um, you had the plants thing organized. Yeah.
That need to be organized. You understand? I don't have the space, two space we could have as nursery, so it's just
Okay.
to
Yeah, get that
I
work
don't
out.
talk to my
I
truck.
thought yeah, I'll get that work out on the weekend.
No, we keep
Um,
miscommunicate, we keep missing each other calls and stuff like that. But I don't have a truck in place just to go and collect them and then bring them to the farm, and that's all it is. But the space is already been there and stuff like that. So it's just to make the connection.
I
I'll
just
give her
want
a call
to make sure.
tomorrow
I just wanted to make sure
again.
before I don't advertise what is not happening because I thought he had done that.
Cause
Because I was just
I
gonna
need
say
to
it with
get
my
them there,
engine.
cause them at the farm because there are people who calling me and ready to purchase stuff. So I need them to get to the farm between tomorrow and Monday. There's stuff you understand
Okay.
the next week latest. So communicate
Yeah.
with mom and then I'll give a call tomorrow to cause I need to get them at the farm. Guys, today now I was
Okay.
cutting out some what you call it, coconut trees and stuff like that at the same time. So definitely it's being ready. It's just just what I say. It's just to get them there. All right?
Yeah. So, folks, it's gonna be every Friday. It's gonna be from
Yes.
7 until 9 o'clock right here on the Real Entertainment Network. So, pin the Real on your face spot and put on a notification for an edition of Everything Agriculture every Friday night from 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock. We start early, but this is like the first show. So it's like the reintroduction of Everything Agriculture back on the social media platform, but we are via Real Entertainment Network. We are
That's
also
right.
still, however, to link up with Alan, which is on the last Tuesday in every month to do that exclusive the topics and every agriculture connection where we
Yes.
address cannabis as the main topic for that evening and then the other things that Alan to the table. And so it's a pleasure. I want to give thanks to all those who participate, who whether message in, shared, tagged somebody out the case. It was a pleasure
Yes,
having
sir.
you guys with us, and we look forward to having you Friday, every Friday, for another edition of Everything Agriculture. Give thanks, Banky, enough respect for the works and the support, and continue works, Mansa's last stop, and looking
Oh,
for Lawrence Plant Nursery and Shabazz Organic. So, get your plants organic. You still can come to Fountain and visit Mom. So you mean? But we would have a
yes.
space case in the event that you may be on a rush and you just need to catch the ferry, whatever the case be.
Yes, sir.
We will have that link. So um, Chef, Alan, the whole of the Real Entertainment Network and all the others behind the scenes, give time and we'll work to take this platform to the level where it is and develop that interest in
That's right.
agriculture. Well, we don't know there's an interest, but we're gonna seek to make it even more real on the Real Entertainment Network.
Yes, sir. And with that, I think I ain't gotta say much except in January I'm gonna start a Mansa festival, food festival. Around the 24th or 25th. I'm gonna set the date and keep his memory going every January. Can nothing keep it in January, carnival done in the New Year's day coming up on the time there on the third or fourth. So around that time and people playing the books and the this and that. So I want to keep it open. A month of first open the farm. People come visit the farm. See what I've been doing in such a short time. How I have it set up and whatever I'm harvesting within that time. Whether they pay a small entrance fee, $5 come in, have some music playing, and you know what I mean. Just see how a farm should we look and see what my uncle have done over the years. Within that time, should have a lot of mangoes on the trees. A lot of mango is in right now, coming in nicely. Should be by time in the next 3 or 4 weeks, should start harvesting a lot of mango. Right now, we have some of the bastard pali soon ready to harvest. A lot of amipali, Julie mango, long mango, seedy mango, and they still have some of the tree, one or two tree just started flowering and so forth. So I'm grateful. Have a lot of thing carambola on the tree. So you can carambola, the sweet one for juice and the sour one to make drinks for those who making drinks and stuff like that. You can get those readily available right now. Come pick your bag for $10 a half bag. Whatever you have, you come with $2 and get some carambola. Rather they get the good and drop on the ground and they go back in the compost. So that is the aspect. So yeah, son, enough respect as usual. Give thanks to the general public and as you understand for supporting everything agriculture. Next year we're going to be going into our 5th year, which really I guess we didn't see ourselves being here for such a long time, by just doing our duty, sharing information and pushing agriculture. We really, if you reflect and look back, if we wasn't doing this, I know what would have been happening when it comes to the agriculture sector. And also big up the abattoir, Gary Griffin, already taking orders for, if you look in, you know what I mean, your hams and all and different stuff, and rotisserie chicken and your different choice cuts and all this stuff like that. So gotta big up Gary and that. You know what I mean? Been doing a wonderful job over the years, and I don't know when he leave who's gonna replace him, because that's a big foot. That's a big. You call them the, what you call them, the what they call it in the US, them people they can't find the Bigfoot. Well, Gary got the real Bigfoot. You can, I don't know how that how they're gonna fit that man position when he leave. You understand? You got to have somebody in training right now. To fit the position, you have to be training for at least 10 years. You know, to fit the position there.
Hold on,
You
the
know?
Banky. I see Aaron highly gonna put in the 25th, please. I don't know what she mean by that. You'll have to clarify yourself quickly because we're gonna be leaving now. I don't know if she meant that that's the date you should do this activity, but that's all I see. The
25th,
25th,
25th.
please.
Well, that is the one that I'm not sure the date fall on, but I look at the calendar and see. But anyway, at the same time, the 24th, 25th, my uncle, if it's Saturday it will be a better day. But the date will be set, and I'll choose the date and try to fit in Owen as possible. You understand? I want people from Singapore to come over also, and stuff like that. So definitely. Until then, yes, son, enough respect as usual, and to the general public. You understand? For keep support. So last organic and real entertainment network. Big up Ira Reese, Chefs, and you know what I mean, Alan and all those behind the scenes and keeping up the good work. All right? Big up yourself and enjoy your weekend and the festive season. We'll be back next week, Friday. Share the link, let them know everything agriculture is back on Fridays. Wherever you're at, even if you're on the party, and you can always click in and still be in tune. Remember that we're going to start bringing in our guests in the new year and stuff like that, and get the ball rolling. All right. I think yes, son. I think. Wait, yes, son. When is the 14th? Tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I think I have an event to go to at Four Seasons from by Helen's daughter, so, releasing a screening of a short movie clip within Stinkers Nevis of females farming and stuff like that. So and that let me make sure before we go and
Okay, we still on here, you know.
yes, we are here, yes, of course. Yes, there's Roots of Resilience that's showcasing this the 14th of December, 6 p.m. Boy, I almost missed that. This Saturday,
What's that there?
I was sending it to you. It's a story of Singles Navy's roots of resilience, stories of Caribbean women in agriculture. I was sending it to you. I was invited to this Island Girls Rock with big up my cousin Chantel Miller. Had partnered with Helen's daughter in St. Vincent, St. Lucia.
Okay.
We did an
Right.
interview with the lady Helen daughter already. All right, so I'm gonna send you the well, it's not to share, but I guess but at least you go see it. You understand? But it's not to put on the status.
Right.
It's invitation only. All right, but enough respect. So big up the those who are invited to Roots of Resilience, and then I can give you, and then you're gonna be also shared publicly in the next time. But this is the preview of it. So a few people was invited, and then they have some discussion, question and answers, and a little gathering here, eating and stuff like that. So tomorrow, I guess I'll have to leave the farm and get ready and go straight at Four Seasons for this ballroom for this event. And you understand. So all right, so enough respect, your son, and to all, and next week Friday. Anything else you want to say? That's it.
No, that's a give thanks.
All right, bless. You stop? Are you there?
Um,
I could hear you. I'm not sure if the screening stopped.
that's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm listening to hear if we're still on.
I'm ending the streaming, but you're not stopping. Stop? Are you there? Ira, I could hear you. The screening stopped. Huh?
I'm trying to figure out. Listening. Yeah.
I want this. Stop the show, Ira. Ending the stream, but you're not stop. Are you there? Ira?
Turn off the master.
Huh? Yes, son.
Yeah. This is our first time people. So we kind of just working our way around the technical stuff behind the
Yeah.
board and so. So bear with us. But Banky's at the master control right now. It's our first test run. The show went good, but now we're trying to log out. That is posing a little challenge. But in the meantime, some people are still here with us, and so since we still have them here with us, we can keep them engaged until Banky get that out, because that's what we're trying to do here now. We got in. We had a little bit of technical difficulty initially to get the show started. Um, and now we're having a little technicality to get out. But if we get cut off, then you know that Banky get it figured out. In the meantime, we will seek to continue engage with those who we have on the platform. So it's really a pleasure having you guys on a Friday evening, and we do look forward to having the show on a regular every Friday, and we look forward for you to share it. So please share the link, Pinwheel Entertainment Network, and tell your neighbor, tell your enemy, tell everybody about Pinwheel Entertainment Network platform and the fact that Everything Agriculture is going to be aired every Friday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on the Real Entertainment Network platform. So we are seeking to get things organized and get the program off here. But in the meantime, it was a pleasure having you tonight. We had a very interesting show of topics, and I look forward to presenting the 1 hectare model farm to the Ken. We will be bringing that person on the platform, so we're going to definitely have that person as a guest, Miss Davisha Johnson. We will definitely have her as a guest on this program. She's very much involved also in the cannabis industry and the hemp industry, and is seeking to push that a lot in a couple of different African territories as we speak. So it will be quite interesting to have her and her expertise on the program, and also to shed some more light on the farm model, which includes processing, branding, and having access markets for these value-added products. Also, areas for agrotourism components where people can come and visit. You could actually have smoke-free zones, which is a part of some of these, but it's basically 1 hectare, which is about 1.5 acres, makes a hectare. Everything locked, stock, and bar. Be a part of it. Training plays a very critical part of it, where the folks will be trained in various areas, whether it's cannabis, whether it's hemp, whether it's agro, different techniques, different technologies, as a lot of different researches will be done as a part of the training and capacity building of the folk who are living in the communities where these projects are developed. It's not just going to be limited to St. Kitts and Nevis. They are going to be developed in different parts of the Caribbean and Africa. The model is to be able to create self-sustainable communities and agro business-based communities that would empower the people who are a part of those communities. And so it's meant to be very expensive to set up. So it is reachable and affordable. And so what happened is, as Banky mentioned in a conversation, sometimes, or not a previous conversation, but early on this program, that sometimes a lot of things are available, but most times funding and the projects go to Africa and maybe the Latin American countries, but the Caribbean is sometimes not even mentioned. And so in this case, I happen to be um, in a spot that was visible, and I was approached to have a Zoom meeting in regards to farming, and from there, the, 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 the young lady who was the facilitator of the meeting, we decided to look at the possibility of presenting some of these projects in the Caribbean, because they were talking about the diaspora and doing things and connecting with Africa. And I said, well, what about connecting with the Caribbean as well? And so that is how the Caribbean get into the picture here. So you find a lot of times even European groups and various different organizations, they have funding available for certain projects, but countries like Africa and countries in Latin America and so on benefit from such funding. But we in the Caribbean sometimes are overlooked because sometimes we don't have representatives. Sometimes, maybe they reach out, but nobody will up and things like that. So I find myself sometimes in these spaces and represent the Caribbean and said, yes, well, there's a place called St. Kitts and Nevis, and there are possibilities for us to do, agribusiness-based projects and so on. And so that's where I'm at, and that's how that possibility became available. Folks who are just logging in, when we pick up yourself, keep pushing the movement, fam. When I say fam, I mean all my brothers within the real food security movement, not talking, not just talk, but action. Yeah, man. Enough respect, family. That is the mission right now, food security. We can't just talk about it. We have to really do something about it. And so that is where I'm at right now. Sometimes all we need is an opportunity to make a difference, and I'll see how practical this is and these opportunities become. And if we don't have any cogs in the wheel that keep it from rolling as smoothly as it should. So we look forward to really taking agriculture to another level in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and we will continue to play our role. And for me, it doesn't matter where in the world I end up being. I have now coined the title career option as global agripreneur. So wherever in the world I am, I'll be a global agripreneur, taking agriculture and representing agriculture and agribusiness wherever in the world I am. And so it's all about replicating these communities. It's all about developing these self-sustainable communities and being able to replicate them and empower various groups of people at different parts of the world, whether it's in Africa, whether it's in California, whether it's in Antigua, whether it's in St. Vincent, Grenada, wherever we find ourselves, we can. And what's his name? Leonard Howell would have demonstrated that we could create such a. There is that example with Pinnacle in Jamaica, where there was that self-sustained Rastafari community, where they had their own carpenters, their own plumbers, their own contractors, their own shoemakers, their own farmers, their own seamstresses, tailors, and business people. They grew their own food and set up their own markets, opportunities and so on. And they just was not in tune with colony government, and Leonard is in Majesty's you know, found try to say that these people, they are not adhering to their rules and regulations. So the society, and they start to dismantle and break them down, but and seek to ridicule and persecute them. And so all these years Rastafari get all of this persecution and fight, and some people don't even know why. you know, Rastafari was being fought, you know, the real reason, you know, behind the fact that they feared that based on the fact that we were able to create our own community for ourselves and, you know, be able to live in harmony and have no issues, that that style be more attractive to majority of people and that the people would not have taken and and so they had to find ways of Rastafari and in the movement and by any means necessary. The Rastafari as critical. This was one of the crops because back then when we're talking about um, you know, in those days, you know, cannabis was one of the crops widely used by Rastafari, and there was high demands for it, and the community grew it and found ways of exporting it and get to those who needed it. And all of that was part of why the fight was so much against Rastafari because they were able still to be able to utilize it and generate money and empower their communities, come back in and build up, you know, whatever they need to build up in their communities without having to depend on, as we would say, the system. And so that was taken away from um, our people, you know, that was just, you know, taken away. But the model is still there, self-sustenance, being able to grow enough food and have your own little, you know, village markets, and the people in the community were able to make their own, whether it's pepper sauce or make their own juices or beverages. Even when it come down to the alcohol, those who maybe wanted to drink the wine and the moonshine and all of these were agro businesses, you know. We call it Hammond and Sinkit and Nevis, you know. In some other countries they call it moonshine. Um, but the people were able to create their own products and trade amongst themselves. They had the fishermen, they had the people who, you know, get the honey, they had the people who raise the animals, they had the people who raise their own chickens and so on. And these were vibrant communities that were able to not just sustain themselves, but were also able to trade with other people in the territories which they lived or they dwelled, you know. But you know, Pinnacle was destroyed, and then there was that quest to you know, seek for Rastafari and bring them in dead or alive. So many had to run to the hills. Um, and likewise, you had the Dread Act in Dominica, where it was legal for you to shoot a Rastaman on sight if you had a licensed weapon. Rastaman didn't have to do anything. Just being a Rastaman was deemed worth your life, worth nothing. You could have been shot down just like how they would shoot down a dog or tiger or whatever and claim that it's trying to attack them, you know? Nothing for it. That's how Rastafari was seen. And so that also led Rastafari to spend a lot of time as well growing food because they were not accepted, so to speak, by society. And so we ended up having to grow a lot of food. And that's the only way we were accepted because at the end of the day, you gotta eat. And so if you could get some food going from a restaurant, and sometimes it's cheaper anyway, you know, the people were able to buy food from the restaurant, and the restaurant was able to come in the village shop maybe and exchange his food you got to see. Um, Fish, he bring in the fish and he sell the fish to the community and he make a little change to buy that he need in our life. But because we're not even construction, Rastafari couldn't we get a legitimate construction work, you know, and just wanna get in. So it led to a lot of farmers in the Rastafari community. And so Rastafari can continue to lead the way within that realm as it is today still, you know, we apart from having to with it, see and have become conscious need for it to continue because we know food is life. And food security is a part of our life. And we know we don't want to eat a lot of these processed food, and we understand nutrition to the point to understand that the fresher your food is, the least time away from the plant is the more nutritional value and antioxidants and other things that you're able to gather from the plant. Every day, week or weeks, that fruit is away from the plant is every minute and day and weeks worth of nutrients that are being depleted from whatever it is that you are eating. And that is just material side of it. But when you're talking about the processing side of it, the more processed it is the more non-nutritional that product is. So for example, like sugarcane juice, as much as it's a sugar, the sugarcane juice itself is very good for diabetics. However, when it's processed into sugar, it can pose a problem to folks with diabetes. And I just mentioned that health fact, but in terms of the reason I use sugar was the fact that brown sugar now, in terms of the processed side, even though a lot of people say, oh, it's dirty and they don't like it, more, we're supposed to use sugar. If I would recommend sugar, that would be the sugar that I would recommend because the more processed the sugar is, lighter and whiter it becomes, is the less nutrition it has a less nutritional value it possesses. And so, these are things that we understood and realized that, okay, better than to get our sugars from eating a mango or eating some guava or eating some golden apple or some sweet carambola, versus having to go through the processed food. And we understand that if you can grow your own fruits and veggies, you stand a better chance of getting more nutritional value from whatever it is you eat from farm to table versus having to go to the supermarket and not knowing how long that potato or that pumpkin or that tomato has been there on the shelf, and knowing what process through either. If the person sprayed it, if maybe by, they had a crunch and something happened and needed to transport earlier. And so even though it didn't meet the time for the pesticide to wear off, that farmer still, took the chance and harvested and still sell you anyway. So when you get it, you do have pesticide residues and all that. When you're not in control of your food, is coming from somewhere who you can't even, somewhere from some people who you can't even relate to and have no idea what processes were involved, how long they were harvested, what they do to maintain that, you know, state of looking like it's worthy, and then by the time it gets to you, how much more time you have with it. And so that's one of the problems that a lot of the supermarkets who depend on food from tropical or the other shipping agents. Let's say some of these things are coming from, say, California side. It's going to take Chuck a couple of days to get to Miami, and then to get from Miami and ship down to the Caribbean. That's another couple of days on the ocean. Then you get to St. Kitts, and maybe another couple of days before it's cleared in customs. Maybe it's cleared the same day too. It might be efficient depending on how things may be. But then you might find that you only have a week um, shelf life before that expire, and then by the time it gets to you, um, the nutritional value of that is next to nothing. So you're eating, but you're just eating for a full belly versus eating to be replenishing the minerals and nutrients that your body need to function at the optimum. So that is some of the things that we have to consider. well, it seems as if we're still online. It seems as if Banky ain't get this thing figured out yet. And so I guess I just don't want to necessarily keep the line live open and nothing is happening. So I'll seek to keep you guys informed, entertained, or educated, depending on how you want to look at it, until we get cut off. This is the first show we're doing for on this network on a Friday. So we want you to know if you're logging in and you're still in to share the energy, share the vibes. We're gonna be live on Real Entertainment Network every Friday. So everything agriculture is back on air, but we are gonna be doing it every Friday. So we don't have any competition with anybody else because I don't know of any talk show that is on a Friday. So we don't have to compete with anybody. We are on our own space, we're on our own base. We're on a Friday, we try to get early enough so that even if you're going to Lyman party or whatever, you could log in and listen to us while you're getting ready or while you're ironing your clothes or while you're cooking your food or you're eating your meal or whatever it is before you bounce out. But we're gonna be on from 7 until 9 every Friday night on the Real Entertainment Network. So listen out, plug it in, put it as a reminder, pin it, whatever you want to do in terms of, as a reminder for you to log in every Friday night on Real Entertainment for another edition of Everything Agriculture. We will still also do the last Tuesday in every month that link up with the topics with Alan right here on the same platform as well. So we still would do that. Last Tuesday in every month, that collaboration with the topics and everything agriculture. But we will do our regular programming every Friday right here on everything agriculture and Real Entertainment Network. So yeah, people, it's a pleasure for you to stick and stay with us. While you're here, then since you're here, anything you want to throw on the table, anything you want to ask, anything you want to put in the inbox, so I can respond to that if needs be. Um, but it's a pleasure really getting the opportunity to be on the platform and to help to take the platform to another level. Real Entertainment Network has been doing a lot of great works in terms of the media space for a couple of years. They would have gotten a lot of recognition, especially when it comes to the election time and so on, in terms of, people. This was one of the go-to spots for the live information in terms of bringing in the votes and so on for the last and the more recent elections in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. They have been given recognition for bringing some of the top voices and personalities on the platform and having some of the hard interviews, interviews with hard questions and bringing interesting topics and different, people from all different spheres of life. And that's one of the things that I love with Real Entertainment Network. It's a real balanced platform, and they really seek to try to address as many of the topics that's affecting or has implications and or can help to improve our standards in society. So I got to give kudos to Real Entertainment Network for creating the platform and maintaining the platform over the years and to have now given us the opportunity to utilize the platform to disseminate information in regards to agriculture and cannabis, which is also a part of agriculture now, on St. Kitts and Nevis. So it is really an opportunity for us to address anything on that topic, and we're the only ones who would have been doing this for a number of years. We would have been doing this program, Everything Agriculture, for probably about 4 years. Well, we missed a couple of months in the past couple of months, but it would have been 4 years. So let's say for over 3 years, we were live doing Everything Agriculture, the only program in the Federation that's specifically dedicated to agriculture on a weekly basis, and also the only program that set aside a time that delve into the topic of cannabis on a monthly basis. So the last Tuesday in every month is usually set aside for cannabis discussions, and we are proud to be, you know, the frontliners in seeking to inform and, you know, shift the paradigm where cannabis is concerned and do the re-engineering of the brain that is necessary for our people to embrace cannabis from a level that is more than just the smoke. You know, think above the smoke, think about the other possibilities that exist in terms of helping to fast track many of us to becoming business people, um, agripreneurs, um, entrepreneurs, um, and so there's a lot of opportunities that are available still in the cannabis sector, and thus in the agricultural sector. And a lot of the things that can be done with cannabis in terms of value-added products, which is usually highlighted, which is one of the big things when we talk about think above the smoke. You think about the other value-added products that can be created from the plant itself, from the flower, from the seed, from the various components of the plant. Likewise, you have similar opportunities with various other crops um, that we could take advantage of, whether it's the moringa, whether it's the guava, whether it's the sugar apple, whether it's the lime, or the breadfruit, because a lot of these plants, apart from just eating the fruit or the veggie, you would find from a medicinal standpoint, there are lots of values where some of the leaves and other parts of these plants are concerned. And by the research into various different groups of people, you would find that a lot of things that we might take for granted are widely used in various other cultures or groups of people. And if we were to take the time out to source out some of these markets, do the market research and so on, and you would find that you could tap into certain groups and cultures with things that you may have, as we would say, knocking dog or, just banging about. You can now take those things seriously and, help to empower your people financially and create products that are in high demand by these communities, and thus making huge revenues from things that you were taking for granted and probably would not have got nothing for. And so, these are some of the ways and these are some of the opportunities that are available in agriculture, but takes a little bit of time to think and plan and begin with the end in mind. So, like, let's use sorrel for now. You're going to grow sorrel. Don't just think about growing the sorrel and selling the sorrel like that. Think about also now what other value added products I can create from sorrel, so that if I have an abundance of sorrel and I can get them sold to the people just like that, what can I do with it? Okay, I can dry it You know, probably use a dehydrator or freeze dry, and we can package them because there's a demand for dried sorrel. The people who are out there, whether it's in America or Canada or England or wherever it is in Europe, who would have learned about these things and would love to get these things, but in order to export it, that might be the only way you can get it exported, because you cannot sell it with the moisture of the risks that are associated in terms of pathogens and different things and so on. So you would have to dry it, and you can dry it and package it, and that's another way of creating a value added product. You can make jams, right? You can make a jam, and different people would have different ways of making the jam. Somebody might make it using this ingredient, somebody might use this ingredient in somebody's jam. This ingredient might be a little bit more potent than it is in another person. And so you get different variations of the same sour jam. That means you can brand your own. Somebody might like somebody else's own more than how they like somebody else's own. And you have your own little competition in that way. Somebody might make sour wine, and that's a product in itself. Somebody can make a sour juice and bottle it and package it and label it. Somebody can make, well, there's already a company that's making sour rum, but you know, they call it hibiscus. But I'm just looking at some of the possibilities that you could have with just one crop, you know, and you know, you begin to think more seriously and see agriculture as a business, and we have that capability. We can do these things, and power, almost lose power, almost lose. Yeah, I had to plug in. I had to go and plug in the phone. I almost just get cut out on the ear, so that's why I have to run and go and get the charger. But yeah, um, that that is that is one of the things that we can do in terms of food security, and what we need to do so we can create value to the things that we are growing. You know, um, just think about marketing the raw material like that. Value added has to be one of the things that we seriously consider. And there are markets out here for these things. There are a lot of people who would love to get Caribbean produce, who would love to get tropical produce, who would love to get, so we can't just really sit back and think small and think, well, oh, you know, if everybody started to go, the market in Nevis is small. No, don't just think about the market and think it's a Nevis. Yes, we need to think about it right now in the context of reducing our import bill, of course, and we can do that. Also saying that if you're thinking about it as a business, you can seriously, there are models that can be and approaches that can be taken that can empower those who just want to grow just like that. But then you can put yourself in a position where you can market the surplus. So you can meet your local demands, and then you could have like Banky saying he's gonna have soil, and he actually looking to export soil um, to some other territory weekly. And he's able to do this because he's putting into rotation a sort of planting structure that is going to provide him the opportunity to do just that, because he's going to be rotating planting maybe every week or every 2 weeks, so that he could be so he could have a continuous harvest, and then he would be able to meet his demand. So he is now making sure he create a market for his surplus. Now, if he didn't have that market, he can also get into, he can even still do that. He can get somebody to, as I said, either dry the soil or make a jam, and then he would have another source of getting the rid of or making use of his surplus. Or he can even now consider now expanding the amount of soil he's growing to meet these demands. And this is what we need to do from the marketing side. The marketing side would be key in order to help to ensure that the farmers who are going to cultivate don't have to worry about spoilage and too much wastage and so on. Because even if they don't have the grade A that is going to go on the supermarket shelf, that your processing facility is in such a space that you can take whatever those that might not look as good looking and so on and turn them into something. So let's say it's carrots, and you don't have those straight, ones. You might have some cookie looking ones and so on with 1 3 prongs and so on. Those you can now set aside and you grade them as maybe grade B or grade C, and then you sell those. So instead of the farmer losing totally, the farmer now can put those in a different category and sell to those maybe making carrot drink or maybe making carrot cake. But they don't really care about the ugly look, and so they just want to know that they got the carrots to get the juice out of it or to get to grate it to get the pulp to make the cake. So, it's all of these little things that's going to have to be factored into what we're doing as we take agriculture seriously. If we're really serious about agriculture in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and in the Caribbean on a whole. And so I really look forward to doing a lot more, making my contribution on a more significant basis, or at least more significantly. Um, and we're looking forward to at least making that first step with the collaboration with Shabba's Organics. So Tafara is Plant Nursery, which is located at Dana Road, Fountain Village, Nevis. That would be collaborating with Shabba's Organics. So folks who want their plants, whether it's your jackfruit tree or your strawberry or your golden apple or your lemon or your lime, your bread nut, your sugar apple, and I think she have some ornamentals as well because my mom, she love her flowers. So you'll be able to get plants from Shabba's Organics, which is located at Mansa's last stop right there at Kids, but you can't miss it. And so that's another way that we're demonstrating that collaboration, we're teaming up, and showing that we're not just talking, we are making these things happen, making it a reality. And definitely when I get that 1 hectare farm project started in the Federation, whether it's going to be Nevis or St. Kitts, Banky is going to be very instrumental in making that a reality as well. So that's what we're talking about in terms of collaboration. And there are other, farmers that, we would definitely work along with within the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis to make a lot of the things see and not need to happen. Like I said earlier on in the conversation, agriculture is one of those areas where we don't have to hide anything from anybody because everybody would have their own technique and everybody would have their own skill, and we can only benefit if we help each other. So if I have a skill or technique that works and I share it with another farmer, it is only going to help the farming community to be better because that farmer now will be able to produce food maybe as good as I am producing it and maybe even better. And if it gets better, well, that's better for me. Um, and like I said, there's no competition because it doesn't matter how much we grow. In a small island like Nevis, it doesn't matter how much we grow. We can grow enough to sustain the market demands that are out there already. Even if every farmer in Nevis just decide to grow tomato alone, they don't plant nothing else but tomato, and all of them go tomato, and all of them tomato come in at the same time. As long as the people who are in marketing would have done their marketing, then you could get rid of those tomatoes, and it still doesn't meet quarter, even a third of the demand that is out there for tomato. So it's just to show you that there is no competition in this game, you know. It just come down to organizing yourself, marketing yourself, planning, so that you could, then tap into whatever market sources would be available. Are you setting yourself to have long-term market instead of just, doing a crop and hoping to get it sell when it comes around? Organize yourself in a way that, like Banky is seeking to demonstrate, that he would have soil up until March when it's time for the Agri Expo, and then have some further down until Culturama. And he's doing the same to the watermelon, that have melons, in rotation going all the way down until those times as well. So, and he's still seeking to make links with other farmers to meet this demand of a plane that he's going to be getting to come from, I think is Tartol and Montserrat. He said that he's going to be exporting Anguilla. I think it's Anguilla. He's going to be exporting food too, because there are people who, and I mean, Banky, I didn't get to comment on that when you said it, but I know that is a demand for food that's grown between St. Kitts and Nevis, because as much as we get food from Dominica and St. Vincent and them other countries, there is that claim that food that's grown within, especially Nevis, because of that more clayey soil texture, whatever it is that is in the Nevis soil, um, is of a higher quality than you find within other territories within the region. St. Kitts as well. So not because I singled out Nevis, but St. Kitts and Nevis, the food is in high demand around the region. I remember when I was on St. Kitts, I started exporting soil to Anguilla as well. I had a brethren, me and my brethren, and we linked up and we made that connection between the Dominica boat, as we realized that the Dominica boat would have left Nevis on a Monday night and then sail down Tuesday and get to St. Martin on Wednesday. And so we sort of made that arrangement. And we harvest on a Sunday afternoon, wash and pack up and sort out and bring it in on Monday for the Dominica boat. And then when the boat leaves, we make our link with that person in Anguilla so that they send over a little boat to pick up their shipment when it gets there on Wednesday. So there are things that can happen, but seemingly it's the individuals who have to make these things a reality. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but these are some of the things that's going to be critical for us to get to that level where we take farming from not just being subsistence, where people just do it part-time, recognize that it's something that you can do full-time and have it as a serious, legitimate way of life, business, where you don't necessarily have to work your first job. That can be your first job, but it will just take for you to organize it and, plan and begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. And that would be the strategy. We're just waiting for master control to get us logged out of here. So I just opted to continue having the conversation instead of us having um, um, dead ear while we're on live. So I think between Banky and Ira, it's supposed to be trying to sort that out so we could get off here. But I opted to stay and keep the live active instead of just being dormant. So if you are with us and there's anything you want off the table, you can throw it in the chat, and I would seek to find to. If I don't, then it means probably we get cut off. So I'm just waiting for whenever that time comes. But I hope you guys had a wonderful work week. We're gonna be your wind down of the week on a Fridays. So for those of you who are just logging in again, we're going to be on every Friday night here on Real Entertainment Network, doing another edition of Everything Agriculture. So every Friday night we're gonna be here. Every Friday night. And then the last Tuesdays in the month, we're still going to team up with the topics with Alan and do that simulcast, Everything Agriculture meets the topics. And we will do that on the last Tuesday in every month right here on this platform. So folks, this was our introductory Friday night edition. Look forward for us every Friday. Pin it, share it, put it in your favorites, whatever it is that you need to do as a reminder that, before you go to Lime on a Friday night, this is the place to be logged into. So we're going to start from 7 until 9 so that, while you're getting ready to go party or while you're getting ready to go on your date or even when you're out on your date or whatever, you can log in and listen to us, you know what I mean? And whatever the case may be. But we're hopeful that, we get you while you're doing whatever you're doing between 7 and 9. I think, like knowing back how I used to party back then, I used to leave home until 11, 12 and so to go party and so. You know, depending on the events now though, I know this culture, Mr. In a culture, but carnival, there are going to be events, and some people might want to go to the events and so on. So we come in at 7 and, we leave at 9. So we give you enough time still to listen to us and log in to us and then there's not much competition when it comes to the other talk shows in the Federation and so on. I don't think that there's any show on a Friday night for now. So we are going to take that spot. So we have that spot for now, and we're looking forward for you to help us to build that spot and that platform. So share the link, share the live. I am just here waiting to get off. We have been here for a couple of hours now, and I just decided to continue the conversation because seemingly we are still live on here. So for now, if you are here with us still and you want to put in your input or ask your question, you're free to put it in the chat box and I would respond accordingly. Yeah, that's the last comment we had there when we keep pushing the movement. Okay, that's about it. But yeah, for those of you who are still logged in, you can add in your comment. What I don't know how many of you are paying attention to what's going on with food security and one of the movements that's going on, I'm understanding, in some African territories where folks are being prevented from planting their own local heirloom seeds and are being instructed and in some cases even punished if they don't plant these GMO seeds that are being introduced in some of these territories. I know that there are some subtle ways of getting them into our societies as well, even here on St. Kitts and Nevis, where, they seek to sell you, the farmer, some nice stories in terms of, they're pest resistant, they're resistant to certain pests, and they're resistant to certain things and so on. But at the end of the day, if you want back those varieties, you have to come back to buy it from them. Yes, Ruthlin, bless up, welcome. These are some of the things that is taking place within the food industry. I'm wondering if some people are aware of some of these things that's going on and realize the need or the necessity for us to really, one, as a nation, I suggested this earlier on in the program, that we seriously not just think about it now. I think we should have already passed the thinking stage, but begin to set up a seed bank where we can store a lot of our indigenous seeds and varieties. Maybe we need to just, when we are planting, set aside a section that we're not going to harvest. We're going to let them overgrow, like, you're dealing with okra and things like that. And you just set aside a section that you let them overgrow so that you can take out your own seeds and you can store these seeds, whatever it is that you're growing, beans, whatever it is, pumpkins and so on, and find whatever storage facility, create a storage facility that you can store a lot of your seeds for future generations, because based on what is going on with the plans and visions to and missions to reduce the population to a certain number, it is a lot of different means and mechanisms and methods have been utilized to achieve some of these objectives. And even if it is through the food, this is why, it is coming down to you. You have to, you can't just sit back and listen to some of the people who you elect to represent you, because a lot of these people in some cases have signed on to these agendas and they have not told you. They didn't even consult with you before they sign on to these agendas. And in a lot of cases, you don't even know what the agendas are. Yeah, you don't even know what the agendas are, but your elected officials would have signed on to them. And then as a result, you just have to follow the blueprint. We saw the example with the pandemic that we would have had just a couple of years ago. And you realize that at the end of it, more of our elected officials agreements, and so they were just reading from the same handbook. All of them were saying the same things. These institutions saying what they're saying and so on, and you realize it was just like a playbook. And this is what happens when sometimes your elected officials sign on to some of these international agreements, and sometimes we never had any consultation. So then when it's time for you to act now, or you start to react, so to speak, you're met with, well, your leaders would have signed on to this already, and so there's nothing much you can do in terms of breaching these arrangements that you would have signed on to. And the argument is going to be that you signed on because your elected officials represent you, so they're the representation of you. So whatever they say trickles down to you having to deal with whatever it is the individual citizen. So, a lot of these things are reasons why it is so important for us to pay attention to what is happening from a governmental standpoint, and especially where agriculture is concerned. And also because of the implications for us as individuals, as simple as it is. When you already sign on to certain things, that's why, for example, like, a lot of the times we argue and we say, oh, well, when you have a glut on the market with certain produce and so on, why can't we just ban, certain territories from bringing them in or importing them and so on? It's not that easy when you would have signed on to certain world trade agreements and so on, right? Where you sign on to the free trade market and these kind of things, where then when you're done to that, you can't just get up and say you're going to ban when you sign on to the free movement of things from these territory, even if they might be cheaper, even if they might be whatever the case may be. You just can't get up and say, well, okay, yeah, because they have a glut on the market in this supply, in this product, that you're going to stop. And so it's quite interesting. So Gwyneth Jones, good evening, good initiative. Kings, good night. Yes, yes, and food security is very, very vital. We even talking about now crime as a health issue, and a lot of people say that a lot of crime sometimes stem from poverty and people being unable to meet their basic needs, and food is one such basic need. And so there's another um, thing I was listening to, or no, I read he spoke about frequency, and he was saying that our bodies are frequency, and the food we eat carries certain frequencies, and he was highlighting the levels of frequency in processed foods versus the level of frequency in what is considered superfoods and um, alkalinized energy foods. And so you find that there's a higher frequency in those things, but in a lot of cases, we are not eating a lot of these things that would give us that high frequency. And so it comes down to what I'm pointing out, that you are what you eat, and you can raise your frequency or change your thinking process, how you think, how you function, how sharp your thinking is, how vibrant you are based on what you eat. So it's really, really critical for us to pay attention to a lot of these things that's going on in the food industry and in the food world, in order for us to be able to address food security. Food security is not just as simple as it seems, and it is being played around with seemingly in the public sphere. This 25 by 25 agenda that should have been taken seriously since years ago. And we shouldn't even just be thinking about a 25 by 25 agenda. Well, okay, it seems as if we're getting ready to get logged off the air now, because I'm hearing something in the background here, so which means something is happening. Something is happening to get us out of here. So whoever is at master control, if we get things figured out, then it would mean that we would be making an exodus anytime soon. So, okay. If you're ready, people, seems as if I'm hearing something in the background. I don't know if it's on the ear as well too.
It's inspirational, educational,
let's
and you won't want to miss it.
It's
Everything Agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about Everything Agriculture with the man Banky and Company, alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's Everything Agriculture.